Okay. We are live, and now begins the process of inviting everyone. Hey, Jeff.
Hey dude, how's it going?
Okay. Um,
Yeah, every time I think it was harder to find this place this time than it was last time.
I
You
didn't
know what I
put
mean?
the
It's
link
like you
up.
gotta have the secret code and the backwards handshake and climb to the top of the mountain and listen for the wind and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was trying to
Um,
share it, but I don't know if I got the right link up or not.
well, what did the link that I sent you get you? Just to the event page?
That one, I don't know. It took me to the one that has the screen on it, which oh, now I opened it up again. I can see you in there. Maybe I should close it. So maybe it was like the place where I could watch it, but then I went into. Are you still there? I went
Yeah,
into
I'm
like
here.
my Google Hangout thing, and then I finally saw you had like a you invited me in or whatever, so I clicked that thing. So hopefully that's what everybody needs or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to.
I see somebody popping up here.
Is that Scott? That's Scott. All right. I'm gonna have to invite everybody individually.
Okay.
Let's see, John. So we're live.
Oh, we
So
are okay.
yeah,
I
while I work on the mechanics of everything, you can
introduce the show. All right.
say hello
Hey
to people.
everybody. It's the Artcasters live show. Number 2. Let's see. It's me, Jeff Lafferty, and Peter Palmiotti, and Peter's working to get everything set up, and I'm kind of doing a little fill-in comedy skit here in the beginning. And it looks like we're at least going to have one other person, Scott. Is his name Selkirk?
Circling.
Oh, Cirkland, okay. And that's cool.
Um, I'll get other people in.
Okay. Hey, Scott, welcome to the show.
Hey
Can you hear
Jeff,
me?
how you doing? Yeah, I hear you fine. You hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Awesome.
Well, it's nice to meet you, at least on the internet.
You too. Yeah, I've been watching your videos, but it'd be nice to actually chat with you. So.
Yeah, that's very cool. Yeah, I've been watching yours too. I don't always get around to commenting, but I
Yeah.
like.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say I like the one where you were like you had the time machine robot or something like that. I was gonna comment on that one, but I just didn't even know what to say. I'm like,
Yeah.
what more can I add to this?
Yeah. If I have time, I'll try to throw in something funny like that. But usually, I just try to. I'm getting better about just turning the camera on and just talking. But when I first started, it was tough because I'm just not used to that. But the more you do it, the better you get. So it's cool. I like it.
Yeah, I agree. Like the first time you do it, you're like, this isn't gonna work. But yeah, it's just I don't know. Once you get going on it, it just seems like you always got something to say, or at least I do. So I think Peter's like running around inviting a bunch of more people. So
Yeah,
and I think it's
we did a chat yesterday for his studio synergy. So that
oh
was
okay.
pretty cool too. So yeah, so hopefully he's getting the bugs out just from yesterday because he went through a lot of this stuff yesterday, and because we could only, I guess we were just set up to watch it. We weren't really set up to participate at first, so he had to send all the invites out. So.
Yeah, yeah. I know it's complicated. You wouldn't think it would be this complicated, you know? I think like
It
Google would
shouldn't
like
be.
streamline it a little bit more.
John's here too.
Welcome, John. Can you hear us?
He doesn't have his mic going or something.
What's your comic called, Scott?
It's called Young and the Dead.
Young and the
Uh,
Dead.
it kind of has a double meaning. It's the main character's last name is Young, but it's also about kids versus zombies. So
Oh,
that's
cool.
that's the meaning behind it.
Awesome. Do you have any issues out yet, or are you just getting this thing started?
I have 2 issues done. I'm working on the 3rd one right now.
Nice.
But I'm not really like promoting them too much. I mean, I take them to shows with me, and they're on my website. You can purchase them, but I kind of did that just so I would have a sort of a benchmark along the way, because once I get the whole story collected, I want to do like a trade paperback, and you know, if I'm able to build up enough followers, maybe try to do a Kickstarter to fund that and everything. But eventually, I want to do a trade. So, but it's nice to, you know, if I said to myself, well, I'm going to do a 200-page graphic novel, that'd be a pretty big task. So I just like to break it up and do issues, and so.
Absolutely, I think that's a lot easier way to do it with shorter goals, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Are you putting out the single issues through anybody like Diamond, like trying to get to the comic shops, or you just kind of just for yourself and then go for the graphic novel later?
No, and I talked about this on one of the episodes. I've just been doing print on demand,
Yeah.
and that's the other thing. Once I get the trade, I'll want to do it offset printing so I can save some money that way. But I know a lot of, at least locally, a lot of the comic book store owners and things, and at first I wasn't really concerned about getting into the stores because, I mean, they got to make their markup, and with print on demand, I can only make a couple bucks each issue, and they got to make theirs. But then I started thinking, well, eventually I want to put this online anyway as like a web comic for free, and even if I don't make it, if I get in the stores, even if I don't make any money and I gain some followers, then it might be worth it. So I might start looking into that, getting that into some of the stores.
Yeah, definitely. Who you doing the print on demand through? Through Kablam?
Yeah, Kablam. I haven't tried anyone else. I've just done Kablam. I've been fairly happy with them. So.
Yeah. I did one like sketchbook thing through Kablam. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah, it helps that mine's black and white with a color cover. I mean, it gets pretty expensive if you want to do full color and everything.
Yeah.
So what was your comic? How long ago did you put that out?
It was, oh man, it's probably like 3 years ago at least now. It was just a sketchbook. I think it was like Jeff Lafferty's sketchbook or something like that, you know.
Well, I saw. I forget what episode was it, but you were showing some of your comic book stuff, and you said, I think you were saying some of the people would be like, oh, I really like this. Why don't you do that more? That's kind of what I'm thinking. Although your portrait stuff's just amazing, but yeah, I'm kind of one of those guys. Oh man, I really dig that comic book stuff he was doing.
Right. Yeah.
Can't please everyone. So.
That's right. And that's why I look at it. You know, it's like I just do what I do. So it's like sometimes I'm doing that, sometimes I'm doing this. You know, but there's always somebody who's like on the other side of the fence going, oh, I like the other stuff better.
Yeah. Most of the stuff I do, I mean, that's not my comic book is quite a bit different. I do a lot of stuff in Adobe Illustrator, so it's more vector looking, and it's kind of old retro futuristic, kind of like propaganda and aliens and robots and all that kind of stuff. So.
Oh, really? That's cool.
That's a little different from my comic.
Yeah. Yeah, the other like print-on-demand place I've been kind of hearing about that I've wondered about and I've been thinking about giving it a try is CreateSpace. Have you messed around with them at all?
I haven't. I've heard of, I think Comic Express was another one, and then I think
Right.
there's one locally here. I'm in Arizona. I think there's one company locally here that does it too.
Yeah.
But what was the one you were talking about? Let me write that down.
It's called CreateSpace. It's like Amazon's self-publishing thing. So it's like they do books. They're not like a, you know, necessarily a comic book publisher, but
Right.
I noticed their prices are like a lot cheaper than, you know, like I put a comic out a long time ago before the Kablam one through Lulu, and that was like, I think it was like $7 a comic or something. It was just ridiculous, you know. It might have been before Kablam because I kind of remember looking around and just not being able to find anything that was reasonable, you know.
Yeah, I think all they really do, I think it's all like color copies.
Yeah, it's just, I think they're just fancy printer or copiers basically pumping these things out.
But I mean, they look good. I mean, I remember when I was a kid, I wanted so much to put together my own comic book, and I wanted to do it in color copies. And back then, they were like, when the first color copies first came out, and they were like $5 a page. It's like, nah.
Go to Kinko's and it's like $25 for a comic. Totally. Yeah, I know. Could you imagine, like, you know, just it's changed so much, you know. Just to do a color comic now is just totally easy.
Yeah.
It was just flipping impossible. You had to have like $5,000 to do it, you know, pre-internet. So, yeah, these kids today, man.
Yeah. Internet, you know, it has its pluses and it has its drawbacks. You know,
I don't know how good they got it. Yeah.
do your own thing. I've got 3 kids, so I told my youngest to stay downstairs so she's occupied. I don't know about these other 2.
Right. Right. Mm.
All right, so John says his mic isn't working,
Oh, really?
but he's here.
We had the same problem with JFM. We couldn't get his audio going.
John, if you hear me, log out, log back in, see if that helps.
Yeah, I noticed before the little icon was showing his microphone was off, but now there's not an icon there, so it looks like it might be turned on. It's just not working, maybe.
Yeah, it's not on mute. Yeah, I got nothing at all. Read that I got my plug in. He's going to restart his computer and come back. Okay. I'll see you later. All right, I invited the people that said they were coming from Artcasters. Apparently, the event page automatically invited all my friends.
That's a good thing, isn't it? I guess.
I'm not sure what list. Because I saw like Will Terrell got an invite, and I was like, who invited Will? It's like, not that I would love for him to come.
Well, I wonder if I did, because I was like pushing buttons trying to share this thing, and maybe I invited a bunch of people or something. Are you only supposed to invite the ones that you want on the show, and then like tell the others about the show or something?
Well, it's not that there were, we didn't really we had one other person on the event page as maybe coming. So
yeah,
it's not like we have, like yesterday's show I had 10 people or 12 people like wanting to come, and then another 12 maybes. So I didn't really want to invite extra people.
I see.
But yeah, I mean, it's cool if you want to just link the link out.
Okay.
Testing.
John's back. We hear you.
Yes. Huzzah.
Awesome.
I wanted to mention Scott. We'll do this on air. Did you want to do an interview on my podcast?
Yeah, I do. I gotta schedule it and find the time. So I was talking to Marshall Couture also about doing an interview on his podcast too. So yeah, no, I'd love to.
Okay, because I'm trying to set up an interview with Steve Niles, but he's a busy guy and he keeps saying.
I've got time. It just depends on when. So we'll figure out a time and and get that taken care of.
Cool.
Steve Niles, that's a pretty big interview.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to talking with him. And I met him once at a convention, and he was just like the friendliest guy, and he's just insanely busy. I don't know how many books he's writing, but he's always like swamped and going in meetings and keeping busy.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Then there was the health scare with Bernie Wrightson, and he's close buddies with Bernie because they've worked on a couple of books together.
Yeah, I saw that about Bernie Wrightson. What happened to him though? I couldn't find like the post where like it said what happened. Did he have a heart attack or something?
Yeah.
Or?
No, it was like a series of strokes in a row.
Oh man!
But I think his wife or girlfriend posted about it. he's okay as far as I know right now. So, he was in the hospital for a little while, and checking him out and whatnot.
How old a guy is Wrightston? Because I mean, I've been a fan of his for a long time, but it seems like people are forever young in my mind when I was a kid, and I aspired to be like these guys, and they're still around, because it's like Sergio Aragonés, he's still out there always touring around, and I don't know how old he is now, but he was kind of old when I saw him that was back in the 90s. So
he's got to be old. I mean, I remember like him in the Mad magazines when I was like a total like little kid. He's got to be up there of like 70 years old. That guy's just never gonna look old.
Yeah.
He's not a young man, no.
Yeah.
I don't know about Wrightson. I imagine he's maybe in the 60s. I don't know. And I don't know if you guys saw. We'll do a little gossip.
Nice. Let's just trash everybody in the show.
Yeah, no. I'm not trashing anyone.
Yet you're about to. I believe in you. I believe you can do this, Peter.
There was a picture of Frank Miller from San Diego.
Yeah, I saw that.
I saw that. I don't. I thought he looked like Freddy Krueger with that hat.
Poor guy. He's going through some.
Not age well. Because I don't think he's that old either, really, compared to.
I don't think so.
Somebody mentioned his age. I think he's 57.
Oh wow! Yeah, he definitely looks older than 57, at least in that picture. Maybe that's a bad picture.
Yeah.
But there's rumors of maybe it's cancer, maybe it's he drinks.
I could see him being a. I could see him being a drinker.
Yeah, I met him at a party, and it was the party he put together, and there was plenty of drinks.
What's this? You're at a party with them?
Yeah, well, when Sin City came out, I was at a New York premiere party for that, and it was it was a screening that he put together. And then he had a party afterwards with cake and liquor and whatnot. It was awesome to be there, and he did like an introduction to the film and everything. But I heard in recent years about dependency issues, and I just I feel sorry for him. He doesn't look good at all, and hope he kicks it and gets better.
Yeah, that kind of sucks if that's what it is.
Yeah.
Some people just look old too, though. Some people look 50 years old when they're 40. So.
Yeah. But okay, since this is Artcasters Chat 2, do we want to do any group?
Yeah, maybe we got to do a group intro real quick.
Group intro? Well,
just to let everybody know who we are.
Ceremonies.
Huh?
You're the master of ceremonies. You put the group together, so go for it.
I didn't mean anything fancy. I just meant put our websites out there. I'm Jeff Lafferty.
Yeah.
I invented the Artcasters.
Before you, there was nobody on YouTube.
My website's jefflafferty.net. Go buy something.
That's beautiful, man.
And I am Peter Palmiotti, the host of these wonderful chats, enjoyed by millions.
He's like the Dick Clark of the internet.
And you can go support everything I do over at Patreon and just type in Peter Palmiotti, and I have links to everything there, so you can see everything. So, Scott?
Yeah, I'm Scott Circlin. My company's called CircWorks. I do robots, aliens, zombies, and other imminent threats to humanity. My website is circworks.com, SERKWORKS, and I've got prints and novelties and what else? I've got some trading card sets, a bunch of stuff on my website for sale, and in comics, of course, comics.
And I'm John Grosowski, aka Zomberai on the internet. I've got Everyday Abnormal, which is an urban fantasy, action, romance, supernatural horror webcomic. It's available to read for free at everydayabnormal.thecomicseries.com. And I also have a Patreon, so I can't really sell you stuff, but you can give me money if you're so inclined.
You got a Patreon too, Scott? Are you in the club or what?
I just think I need to have more of a following before I start that. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, I guess I can ask you guys that have them. It just seems like, I mean, I might be able to get a few people to fund or to support me, but to make any kind of anything really that's not just to buy myself a coffee or something, I think I need a little more followers. So.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. You know what I mean? Hard to guess. I wish I knew that answer too. So.
Well, the thing about Patreon is that it is free to join and everything. So I mean, there's no downside really to signing up. I mean, if you get some people supporting you, that's in some sense it's free money. I mean, it is. It might not be a lot, but it's also not costing you a whole lot.
Yeah, if I do it, I'd like to have kind of a structured, like, I don't know, tiers or different things that I would offer to anyone that that's fun there, that supports me and everything, and I'd like to do it a little more structured. So for me, it probably takes a little more time to figure out exactly how to do it, whether I offer a print or something like that. I don't know what you guys do, but
there's reward levels, and you can set it up however you want. You can, lots of people do digital because then it's not an extra cost for them. Some people actually print stuff up and mail it, but then they do it on the higher tiers or whatever.
Yeah. Because I mean, you could email like sketch cards or little tiny prints that you could just fit in a regular envelope for whatever cost of a stamp is nowadays.
The thing you got to keep in mind is if you do have a international audience,
that's true.
International rates are horrible.
Yeah, you're right.
But you can just say U.S. Mail it to the U.S.
Well, I do prints, but I just kind of made the tiers so that whatever they were pledging at kind of pays for a print. That's kind of how I base my tiers. So it's if they're buying one print, they're just buying a print.
Yeah.
Well, I also told them that they, if they live outside the U.S., they got to pay me shipping when I send it. So they seem all right with it so far, but I don't have a ton of patrons, That's the toughest part about that dang site.
You do have a good following though. So.
How's it going for you, John, on Patreon?
I am down to $8 per month in pledges, so it's I was at 11 for a while, and now I'm.
Oh, it dropped back to. Yeah, doesn't that suck when you lose a few? Yeah.
So yeah, I don't. I'm really not in a great place on my whole would-be comics career, because I cannot seem to get my work to stick or to get anything. I hope I'm wrong, and I'm just being in a mood or something. But it's been a little rough the last couple of weeks. I'll be honest. So.
He needs to do color.
Say what?
He does a black and white comic. He needs to do color.
Yeah, I've been considering that.
Mine's black.
Color's rough, man. That's
it's
doing
beautiful
all
work.
back over again,
Well, color sucks, and I'm not that great at it, and it's time-consuming. But I gotta get something because I just I've got a very cool set of very, very dedicated fans, and I appreciate the holy hell out of them. But it seems like I've hit a plateau, and I just can't expand from that no matter what I do. So I don't know.
I think. Or go ahead, Scott.
I was just say the hard thing's got to be taking those fans and kind of converting them to supporters or people that are actually willing to, pay for what you do. That's the whole.
Yeah.
Which I have. I'm so far away from that right now. So.
Yeah.
I do better at just shows, because if I can get out in front of people and I can show people stuff, I can do pretty well. But it's just through the internet. I'm still an amateur on how to do the whole social network thing and make it work for me. So.
Yeah, it's definitely easier to show to make some money.
Go ahead, Joe.
Well, that's what I was gonna say.
I was gonna say, like.
Sorry, Peter. You go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like, I've been on YouTube for years, but I've only recently made the commitment to really make videos, and especially with the 100, I'm making video every day. My following has only built up really in the last month. And it's because of me just, sort of 24/7 focused on growing that audience. It's not only posting the video there, but it's promoting it everywhere else, and also interacting with as many people as time allows on YouTube. It's a real effort. But I believe, like, the small change I'm making now will just continue to grow as long as I keep with it. Your advantage, Scott, is that you're doing quality videos, a quality book, and it's just a matter of time before people happen across you and notice that.
Yeah, but I used to think that, oh well, and this sounds like bragging. I'm not trying to brag, but like the cream rises to the top. But really, in a lot of ways, it doesn't. I mean, you have to get out there and push yourself. I mean, people aren't just going to stumble upon you. You've got to be out there and getting your work in front of people, and that's that's one of the reasons why I'm doing the videos, the 100 days and everything. And it just takes time. I mean, everyone that I know that is successful on the internet or whatever has built that following. I haven't heard of one person that said, "Oh yeah, I just went viral all of a sudden and then everyone was following me." It's always, the story is always, well, I started doing this and just kept at it and kept doing it, and then eventually people start to trickle in and you build that audience. So.
Yeah, one fan at a time.
Yeah, you have spoken of doing some art videos. You should definitely, do that.
Yeah, I definitely do want to do more like actual process videos, or just film me drawing and everything. And I did a little bit of that yesterday, just to test it out, just on the synergy thing. I was drawing while we were doing that, so that was.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I used to do that. I used to work for a game studio, and from that I gained a whole bunch of followers. But I found out that they were more following me because I drew for that game, and once I kind of left that game, they want to see me draw characters from that particular game. They didn't really transition over to what I was doing. So some of the people did, but so yeah, and I want people to be interested in the kind of stuff I'm interested in and everything. So, but yeah. So, but I did do some videos where I would draw some characters from the game, and then I would do like fan art and everything. And fan art's great for getting people to watch you. Like I think I did a character from Last Airbender, Toph, and that was the biggest amount of views I ever got on anything. But I'd like to kind of get people to be interested in my own original stuff, but maybe that's too much to ask. But
well, it's doing things the harder way, but you'll have a truer audience.
Yeah.
Which I think it's kind of like how I feel. Like, yeah, I'm really tempted to just like do a video about anime or something like Go Teen Titans, or there's a girl that's part of our webcomic community over at Comic Fury. Me and John are over there. Casey, who does like sort of fan videos, and she has a pretty decent sized following, and I know it's all because of that. But if she just did her, her webcomic, which, she's busting ass. She has 12 issues out online right now. I think her following would be a lot less, even though she is busting her ass on it. So it's, what are you willing to do?
Yeah. I think even though that kind of stuff brings in extra people, I think that like some people come in for a while and then they go, and then like you get a few more that just kind of follow you. You know what I mean? And you get the people that will follow you where you go, and that's because there are like webcomics that have huge followings that aren't based on any kind of franchise.
Yeah. Well, you never know where the audience is, because I remember, Jeff, you were watching one of your websites where you were talking about you did a Lone Ranger sketch, and you were worried that it wouldn't sell, but I guess you posted it and it sold right away, and I'm like, well, I can see that happening, because I go up to my dad's place in Flagstaff, and that's all he has is artwork with Lone Ranger and all this. So, I mean, anything, no matter how obscure you think it is, there's a niche for it. So you just have to find that niche.
I agree, actually. I think you're right. Seems to be like everything you can ever imagine is on the net somewhere, which that kind of scares me sometimes too, because I think you get that initial kind of few people that are really into it, but then is there any more? You don't want to go too niche down to where there's just nobody. Right. But I don't know.
No, if you want an audience, you got to make concessions to what larger groups of people actually want to read. I mean, that's.
Well, mine features zombies, so as long as the zombie craze keeps going, then maybe people will be interested. But it's not really, mine's not really a horror, like a horror zombies. It's more in the line of like Goonies meets zombies, so it's more kid friendly.
And see, that's a selling point. That's something you can, because there's not a lot of kid friendly, even in the age of the webcomic. So I mean, that's something that you can use as a selling point.
Yeah, and that's what I try to do. I've got my elevator pitch and all that stuff, so I can pretty much I just say it's Goonies meets Night of the Living Dead, and then that gives people an idea what it's about. So
that's beautiful.
So let's see.
I was going to ask John, since you do a web comic, because that's one thing I want to start doing is converting what I've done so far into a web comic. But I just wanted to I've got 2 issues done, so I'm pretty sure I'm in a comfortable place. But so I just want to have a giant buffer before I start, because it takes me so long just to do an issue, because I've got so much other stuff, and that's one of the reasons I'm doing like this 100-day challenge, just to make sure I can get this 3rd issue out. But I was wondering, like, how often would you update, like, not a comical, or not like a funny, humorous comic, but just sort of, serious, not serious.
For a long form, like.
Yeah. Is once a week okay, or?
Well, once a lot of it is what you can keep up. I mean, I update Everyday Abnormal twice a week, and that's as fast as I can put pages out and have them look decent. I would put them out faster if I could and keep the page quality up.
So do you have a buffer?
Oh, say what? I'm sorry.
Do you have a buffer, or do you just do them as you finish them?
I build up I go on a short hiatus after every chapter, and I build up some of a buffer then, but it's gone like that. Like, the joke I always make is that buffers are essentially Bigfoot. People claim to have seen a buffer. People know what a buffer is, but nobody's ever shown proof of a buffer. Nobody's ever captured a buffer and presented it to the scientific community for verification. And having a buffer is always tricky for me, because I had a good 8 pages of I had about 12 pages of chapter 4 before I started that, and I didn't. Once the chapter started and I started putting out issues, I didn't really slow down, but stuff catches up, and then pretty soon the buffer starts getting eaten away, and then it's gone, and it's like, I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
Then it's.
I had this, and I don't follow a lot of webcomics, so I guess I have to do a little more research and everything. But I know a lot of people that put out their webcomic, and once it gets to a point, the story's finished, then they'll release it as as on print or sell it. But I was thinking that, and I asked, tell me if you know other people that do this. Since I do have a couple books already done, my theory was to just start running just a page a week, and then I would have like a PDF and print available, so if somebody doesn't want to wait, they could jump ahead and buy the whole story in advance instead of waiting for it to be actually completed, because it already is complete. And I don't know if other people are doing that, but to me that sounded like it's sort of a decent business model.
I haven't heard of other people doing that per se, but most webcomics artists that I talk to haven't worked that far ahead and aren't looking necessarily to monetize their comic. So I mean, here's the thing with webcomics is that it's a market where there is no standard. Like there's no basic way of doing anything, right? So like, there was for about 5 minutes when webcomics first started becoming a thing, and it ran off a donation model. But that doesn't necessarily work anymore. So I mean, there's a lot of room for experimentation, and if you've got this system in place where you can have these stories available for sale before they're finished going up on the internet, that might be worthwhile looking at. I don't necessarily see where there's anything wrong with that.
Oh, well, that's encouraging.
It might work, it might not, but I mean,
yeah. Well,
there's no just because there's no what's the word I'm looking for? There's no market standard. There's no baseline correct way of putting something out like that. I mean, you might be incredibly successful just because you're putting out the preview as it's coming out.
Well, it's good to know that there's really not a standard, because that's the only thing I'm kind of worried about, is that because I'm not as familiar with webcomics, if I do something and people are like, well, well, then again, there's always something to be said for kind of bucking the trend and doing something different. So.
Yeah.
Well, and you kind of have to because the day when webcomics could just you could get huge off of webcomics like Penny Arcade or some of these other ones, Sarah Ellerton's work. That's kind of gone because you really needed to be one of the first adopters to do that.
Yeah.
Now there's too many webcomics out there, and there's not enough money going around, so you can't necessarily get a readership that will support you in that same way. So and sometimes you can, but it's a hard fight. So doing something different like that, where you have the full story available even before you put this first story out, that could be something that could be something works in your favor, where it's I'm losing track of the words I want to use, but it all made sense in my head as I was saying it.
Right. No, it sounds good. But I have actually heard of people doing that, where they kind of collect the story and then bleed it out afterwards. You know what I mean? So that you can buy it ahead of time. And I wish I could remember the comics that were doing it, but I don't know. I heard it in some interview on a podcast someplace. But I actually had another question for you, John. Is have you ever tried any of that, like comicsology or anything like that?
I haven't. That's going to be one of my projects on my next hiatus here. Is looking into that, because I've got comics, but thing is, I don't like charging $10 million for shipping costs for my stuff, and I'm really not comfortable with HTML or any of or any coding stuff. It makes my brain hurt a lot.
Yeah.
So comicsology is something I was looking into, because I've got enough for a few books, and I've had a few books printed and on demand.
Well, comicsology, I'm talking about the digital one. Isn't that called comicsology, where it's like the digital? Yeah. So that doesn't have anything to do with shipping, right?
No, that would pretty much be a way around the shipping costs. Okay. And plus, that gives me the opportunity to do, side stories and stuff that's not available for free on the web, that I can somebody might be interested in. So stuff that doesn't tie into my main story, but could be interesting and could get some potential readers.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think getting your, putting together issue 1, issue 2, issue 3, because you got story arcs that are different lengths. However you put it together, getting that on Comixology, I think would bode well in your favor, definitely. And I have heard of people who have an issue or two done and then put it out as a webcomic, 1 page a week. What you were saying, Scott, and I think Paul Kijiji, Process Diary guy, was talking about doing that possibly. I don't know if that's still the plan, but I can't see it not working.
Yeah, because I mean, say if you can download the digital version for $1, I mean, if I was reading a webcomic and I'm digging it, it's 2 pages in, I'm like, oh, just throw $1 in and read the whole thing now. I mean, so it seems like it makes sense.
I will say the only thing that would make me a little nervous about that, and I'm sure there are ways around it, but just something that strikes me, is that if somebody reads 3 pages of this comic, it's like, wow, this is really good, I want more now, and gets the full comic, then they're gonna forget, or they might possibly forget to go back and check for when the next story arc comes out, because regular updating is the bread and butter for webcomics artists, because it keeps that thought fresh in their heads. They have to keep checking it.
Yeah, I wonder if and of course you can't get people to follow you, but if you can get them to follow you on Twitter, then you can always post when a new issue or a new story lines up or something. And of course they have to be paying attention to their feed at the time. So I mean, there's other ways to alert people, but it's not always a surefire. So.
Or if you could get their name on a list, get their email or something. I know, like with Gumroad, where there's like downloads on that, they give you their email they sign up with. So I don't know. You could just collect all those and just spam everybody every time you put one up.
Anyway, it's not a game breaker, and I still think it's very worth trying, and I think it has a pretty good chance of working. It just strikes me as something you got to be aware of, so that you don't have a really good first issue sales, and then however long it is till issue 2 comes out, and then there's nobody because
right.
Everybody
forgot about you.
Yeah.
Well, I think there's different kinds of readers. I mean, because there's so many different formats now, as opposed to, it used to be one in the older days, that you have different sort of readers. You have the ones that will come back weekly and read your stuff. You have the ones that read comics daily, but you also have ones that, check in once a month and see how many pages are done or whatever.
It is kind of true. Like I think of like Travis Charest or whatever his name is. He like never updates his blog, and in somehow I find my way back there every now and then to look and see what the hell he's put up. You know what I mean? So if you really like something, I guess you go back.
Yeah, if you're really hardcore about somebody, you'll check in.
Yeah. Comics are tough though. I take my hat off to anybody doing comics because, it's like 20 pages in and God knows how many drawings before you can get paid for one of them. It's like, oh, it's a lot of work.
Comics, it's a labor of love. I mean, at shows I make money off of prints and stuff like that. I don't make much off the comics, but I just like doing them.
Right. It's funny that it's the thing that kind of drives the industry, like comic cons are all about comics, but then, like, I agree, you go to a con and it's like you make money off prints, you make money off your sketches. Like, the comics are just so hard to move. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it's there are success stories for everything.
Yeah, definitely.
I was roaming around Patreon and came across guys that have been doing it for a while, and they're making, 1,000, 1,500 a month on Patreon because they have thousands of followers, and a lot of them are supporting them, and they're doing what they've been doing, but probably without worry of really forcing any other sort of income, taking on client work or whatever. So.
Absolutely, there's quite a few on there that are making like a lot of money with their webcomics on there.
I think if you were already in a position, like if you had a successful webcomic, it would be so easy just for you to switch everything over to like Patreon and do that. But I think a lot of those people that are super successful and they probably were already in a position where, it's just a matter of kind of transferring over. But just starting out, I think it probably takes more time.
Absolutely, but every one of them started from zero,
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. I mean, I realize that this is going to take time, and I'm in it for the long haul. So,
Yeah.
Goes to her Guardians today.
Yeah. Hey John, can I ask you another question? Do you just host your webcomic on your website? Are you on any other sites like Drunk Duck and all the rest of those?
I'm actually just on Comic Fury. I don't actually even have a site of my own.
What's Comic Fury? Is that
it's like Drunk Duck, only
What's the hosting?
I think it's a much better site. Like I think the webmaster is much cooler and much more dedicated to the project, and it's got I think it's got a better community. I think it's got a stronger community. One of these days, I'm probably going to end up mirroring on Drunk Duck or one of the or like Smack Cheese or one of the other sites, but for the moment, it's just on Comic Fury.
Yeah.
I had a project that I was going to do on my own site, but my webmaster ended up kind of having to step away from it because he got hired by people willing to pay him money. And like I said, I commit crimes against HTML, so I was not in a position to make that make the site a good thing. So.
Yeah. Do you repost on anything like DeviantArt or Facebook or any of those kind of things?
I have to restart on DeviantArt. I've got I was mirroring on there for a few pages and then kind of got out of the habit for a bunch of different reasons. But I want to get started on that again. I always do update posts on Facebook. I've got a Facebook page for Everyday Abnormal that I try and I try. My goal is to post at least one thing a day every day, just to keep that in people's heads and keep it on the and keep it visible.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna, for my next chapter, since it's gonna be a huge thing, I want to put some money towards actually advertising that chapter because I think it could be big for me.
Yeah. Where would you advertise at?
I'm on Project Wonderful. I haven't actually done much advertising through it yet.
Yeah.
I've got a couple sites that I want to, a couple horror webcomics, a couple sci-fi webcomics, a couple, stuff that I could potentially put some advertising dollars to. But
yeah.
I've been kind of waiting because I've been very slowly collecting advertising money from that. Now I've got enough that I can put a little bit towards and hopefully get some traffic built up.
Yeah, reinvest it. I got Project Wonderful ads too. I've been doing that forever. Just dumping it back in. Never can make no money off that sucker though.
It's not really built to make money, I don't think. I mean, in theory it is if you've got enough traffic coming from outside of it, but
there's a few comics on there that bring in the bucks. Like that Olaf or whatever, that dirty comic.
Oh, I'm sure that costs frickin' bank to.
I think the last time I looked at it was like $150 or something a day to advertise on that site. It was like, are you kidding me? It's like done.
That's nice.
My comic's published and making money right there.
Mine's 3 cents.
I'm trying. I haven't really done much so far, but I'm trying what is it, Taptastic. You know,
Yeah.
it's not like I have a lot of pages to play with yet, but you know, I already put a couple of pages up and gotten some traffic there. I don't know if really that's going to do me anything on Taptastic, but I'm giving it a shot.
I've been on Taptastic. I like the site. I think it's pretty cool. You know, I think it has potential. Seems to be a pretty active community there. You know.
Yeah, I hear like, you know, you can get some really good numbers there, and people talk about making money there, but
Yeah, they got some kind of revenue sharing thing. I noticed that just when I was researching it.
yeah, but I'm not sure how it works. Because when I look further into it on the site, it says we're updating that or something to that effect.
Okay.
Like it kind of doesn't exist.
Yeah.
That's the way the lingo made it sound. I don't know, like maybe if I was getting like 20,000 views a week, I'd get an email from them or something. But
Yeah, it might take notice. Yeah. Well, what else though? I mean, what about Drunk Duck for you, Peter? I mean, have you been on there? I noticed, like, you know, I put my short-lived webcomic on there, and it seemed like, you know, it got comments every time I put stuff up. I was kind of surprised, having never been on that site before.
well, right now it's just the duck, I
The
believe.
duck, yeah.
They changed the whole thing. I don't know. Like I know they had problems for a long time, and they reformatted everything, and it's not what it used to be. I don't know if it's for better or for worse. But I mean, I think I'll stick with Comic Fury because I like the site. I like the people there. I'll try Taptastic because the advantage there is that the audience is the mobile audience.
Hmm.
And I think, you know, because it's focused on the mobile audience, that's in many ways the kind of people I want to reach. I think if I'm going to be posting anywhere else, maybe I'll just create my own site eventually.
Well, I mean, I guess like, well, I do that myself. Like, it's not on with webcomics, but I repost like the hell out of my shit. You know what I mean? I find every place I can stick it, and then I just repost the same thing. You know, like on DeviantArt, Facebook, Twitter. You know, not just like links back to my site, but the stuff. You know what I mean? Because I figure if they go to the thing where the thing is, then it's like they'll go to the store or the eBay link or whatever if they're interested. And I just thought, like, you know, as far as comics, if you're trying to get fans for your comics, you know, why not post on all these comic sites? You know, there's
Yeah,
obviously guys who like to read comics there.
I do post on DeviantArt, like the pages as I do them. You know, and you know, on Facebook and G+, I post the links to the stuff.
Yeah.
Twitter, pretty much anything I post on Facebook gets posted on Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm sure you can. I'm sure I can figure this out just by going to like one of these sites. But when you like, what Comic Fury, or is it? You said it's just called the Duck now. Is that? Can you kind of do your own branding with your books on there, or is it all? Is it all kind of under their? I'm sure they've got their banner and everything, but.
I can't speak to. I can't speak to the Duck because I haven't used it at any great length, but I know Comic Fury, you can adjust every aspect of your site. Like, other than a link to Comic Fury and the comic profile that's at the very, very bottom of the screen, and
cool.
an optional banner ad that you can or don't have to put up. Like, everything's adjustable there.
That sounds cool, and it's easy to use. It's not because you said you don't deal with HTML, because I don't either. So
I don't. I got help from a friend, like, to do the HTML on my site and kind of spiff it up a little bit. At some point, I'd like to work up some money to get a professional website designer and actually spruce it up and make it look pretty. But yeah, it's very, very easy to use. If you update a page, you just go to the upload a strip button, put in the information, select the file that you want to upload, and hit the button, and it puts it up in order for you.
Cool.
Yeah, it takes a little while to get the gist of the site, but it's easy, like John says, and there's different templates that are basic layouts, setups for your webcomic, so you can choose from those. But if you know HTML even a little bit, you can add stuff and whatnot.
Cool.
HTML is actually not that hard. It's just, I mean, I realize we're all busy and there was time to really mess around with it that long, but I've played around a couple of times and it's like, oh, I could do this, and that's not too hard.
Yeah,
you sort of just copy and paste.
That's easy for you to say, Mr. Smart Man, with your giant brain and things with numbers. I don't know. I can't do these things.
It's not that I have, though.
I don't know. I just look at chunks of HTML. I'm just like, this is making my head hurt. I can't decode this.
Yeah. Well, I think like the biggest thing that's driving traffic for you guys right now probably are the YouTube videos, huh? That seems to be the big change in mine, anyway.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. I mean, YouTube's like, was it you that was saying that, Jeff? No, it was Peter. Because I've had a YouTube channel for a while and I've just never really done anything with it. And now that I am, it's just I don't think there's one thing that works. I think you need to do everything, like, with Facebook and Google Plus and YouTube. And YouTube is one of those that I knew it was big and I knew how much potential it had because just seeing my kids, I mean, they're always on it. But I just, for whatever reason, I waited so long, which I wish I didn't do. But
were you putting up any videos before you kind of started this 100 Days of Comics, or did you have like a couple up or not? Or
yeah, I had like I said, I was doing Ustreams, and then Ustream to my YouTube page, so I got some YouTube followers there. But yeah, that was most of it was just from the Ustream posting to YouTube, and then every once in a while I think I did one contest that for a drawing or something for like Facebook followers. If I got so many that I'd do a sketch, and I did just a little announcement on that, but that was about it.
Yeah, I had YouTube videos up, but I never was consistent about it,
Yeah.
And then it was just like night and day once I started doing it every day. It seemed like, whoa, what happened, So, not that I'm like that huge on there, but definitely a lot bigger than what it was. So.
Yeah. I mean, it just takes time. I mean, I don't have a ton of followers, but I've got a lot more than when I had none.
Right.
And I got interaction from people, and people are interested, and I've never had any. I know I'm sure once you get huge, then you get all the trolls and stuff like that. But I haven't had any of that, So.
Yeah.
But I guess that's not a bad problem to have. You've got enough people watching you that some of them have to insult you and things like that.
It is weird that they do that on YouTube. I don't get any kind of comments anywhere, and I don't get that many, but there's been a few where I'm just been like, what the hell, It just seems like I don't know.
Yeah.
It's weird that it's just in that community. Like, I never get any bad comments on Facebook, but...
Yeah. Well, I think people actually have to kind of follow you to comment on Facebook, right? But on YouTube, they can just watch your video and...
I guess that's true, yeah. You gotta friend them or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Drive-by commenting.
It's not as bad as it was, even a couple of years ago.
Really?
On YouTube, as far as bad comments, once they linked G Plus to YouTube and changed things up, I think a lot of them, disappeared because it's sort of like you have to have an authentic profile to a certain degree, at least. so that, you know, people could be tracked down kind of easier now,
Yeah.
rather than just random, "Yeah, your stuff is shit, man," you know, comments.
Right. I don't know.
But you know, for all the good that like the 100 days is doing us, I
Mhm.
really personally I can't wait to be done. Um,
Can't wait for
well,
anonymity.
in the sense that like doing it every day is like, you know, it's like I go through my whole day and doing other work, and
Yeah.
oh, I still got to get to my video, and then it's like, okay, I'll talk for 5 minutes of yeah, I got to work on my script, I got to work on my art. You know, it's like every day is not a real like epic
Yeah.
story for me to say anything. It's just like, yeah, another day I put in work.
It's like, yeah, because I don't know what to talk about because I'm not like, I know like Jeff's art cast because he's drawing while he's doing it, so there's something going on. But I'm just now getting to the point where I'm drawing because before it was just all scripting and everything, so I didn't really have anything to show. So I'm trying to think of what can I talk about today, and then I can always just, I mean, essentially what it is just a journal. So I mean, you could just get on there just for a minute and say, yeah, I worked on my 20 minutes today. Everybody, congratulations to me, and just turn it off. But I feel guilty with not coming with some kind of content. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I try to make it entertaining. I mean, you know, in the end, if it's just entertaining to me, I guess that's good enough. But I would like to be doing more, you know, more drawing, and those kind of videos, because that's what really builds followers, and I mean, that's what entertains me most on YouTube. All the amazing artists, um, that have been, you know, just on YouTube for years, and doing great work. You
It
know,
seems like, yeah, when I see the guys work, like I like that for some reason, even if they're not going to talk or draw the whole time, but I like to just see a little bit of it. It just
yeah,
kind of, then I remember them, and you know what I mean, they're in my brain and stuff, and like I've noticed that with some of the 100 Days of Comics guys, it was like quite a few videos in there where I still hadn't seen their work, and then I had to like, go to their site to actually see what they did, and I don't know. It just seemed like a no-brainer though to draw on it.
it's
you
it's
know.
it's funny because I think one of the videos that I got the most response from was me showing old stuff that I did when I was a kid, and and people
right.
out of that. So it's like obviously it's not indicative of what I do now, thank God. But yeah, it was just fun, and it was fun for me too because I'm looking back and I haven't really looked at any stuff in a while, so I'm just cracking up at all the stuff that I was looking at, and I got a lot of positive response from that. So you know,
I find just the ones where you just talk the hardest. I almost have to get myself psyched up to get up
yeah,
there and like, and then I also really worry about running out of stuff to say for some reason. Whereas like when I'm drawing, I don't know. I never even have an idea when I start up the cam usually.
yeah.
Well, you're a natural
Natural
solo
blabbermouth.
solo conversationalist.
Conversational sounds so much better. It's got better connotations.
That's my next Patreon account. Just pay me to shut me up.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
So what are you up to? You've been doing this 50 videos so far? You're past that, probably.
Me, my next
Yeah.
one's 52. That's the one I recorded today.
52.
Which I'm like, you guys are all catching me and passing me. Like Kevin Cross, he's up like 90 or something because I don't do the weekends. So.
Well, you'll pass him soon enough.
I tell you, I need that day or two off to just kind of recharge because it does, man. It wears you down doing videos every day. It really does. By the end of the week, I'm just like, I can't. What am I going to talk about? I got to start. That's how I am. So.
yours are also a lot longer, so
Yeah, that's true.
there's a lot more to have to talk about.
I try to like be concise and be short, and then they end up even longer. So.
Well, I think it's because it takes because you're also drawing, and it takes it takes a while to do that too. So
I lose track of, yeah, exactly. Once I'm drawing, then I just sit there and, it's like my inner voice just takes over. The stuff I'm usually telling myself, I'm just telling everybody else.
You're definitely always entertaining, so.
I got this, it's funny, it's like YouTube sent me this thing, like, like the YouTube boot camp or whatever, and it was like all these tutorial videos about, like, putting tags in your titles and shit. But like one of the big things on there was like to get my videos like so people would watch them all the way through, like shorten them down, And it's like every time I even bring that up on the videos, everybody just immediately goes, "No, we like them long and stuff," So I don't know.
yeah, I'm like that with podcasts. I like to listen to like long form podcasts.
That's a good point, actually. I'm the same way with podcasts. And when somebody is like stopping it at an hour because it's just getting too long, I'm mad at them. I'm like, come on, no, I gotta go find another one.
Well, it's like smart business things you do. There are millions of podcasts out there that are like 10, 15 minutes long that give you the information, like very specific information for that one podcast, and they probably do it like, daily. So it's like, it's very short and precise, but you're getting 5 or 7 a week, and it's really like focused, and they think that's that's good on a business side of things, like a lot of marketing podcasts are like that, but really when it comes down to it, I personally would rather listen to something that's more from an individual or from a group that isn't a corporate kind of mentality of like, oh, this is what needs to be done, and this is by the numbers, and it's for the female audience or whatever, It's
right. No, I agree. Those are the kind I can't stick with. Is like the ones that just you can just tell they're on a script and they got a topic a lot of times, and it's funny. You'd think you'd want to listen to that, but I'd rather I like the ones where people are having like the nervous breakdown about their art.
Why would you listen to that? You monster.
So then you're not the only one, I guess.
Those are people in pain, my friend.
Right. Since everybody started these videos, though, it's wrecking my podcast. It's like I got too many videos to watch, and I can't get my podcast in anymore.
Yeah, I had to sacrifice a lot of things that I used to listen to keep updated with videos. And they keep coming,
Well, that's why I'm glad. Like Kevin will be done soon. He'll do updates, but he's got 10 days left, I think.
Yeah, and I'm guessing I'll probably do what he's doing once I'm done with my 100 days. It's just because I want to keep doing it. Obviously, you got that momentum going, and some ways I'm like, well, should I just keep going daily? But I think that's it's tough now. I mean, it's so you want to keep putting stuff out, but I don't know every day. That might be that's a bit.
What's Kevin gonna do? I guess I've missed out on. What's his plan?
He hasn't totally decided, but he's gonna keep putting out videos. He said he was talking about changing the name of the show to make something like Kevin Show or I don't know, something like that. But then he was gonna maybe do like once a week or bi-weekly or something like that.
Yeah. So it'll just be an update on what he started now.
Yeah.
He doesn't just start the Kickstarter on day 100. Bam! No, it's a $100,000 of comics. Let's get going, guys.
It's like, even something you love to death, eventually you get sick of it. So
Right.
you don't want 1,000 days of making comics.
Really just starts up in it. 1,000 days.
Today I made a panel. Come back tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I agree, but it's, he's like day 90 and I'm still watching those damn things, so I don't know if it's, if it really is true, though. Do you get sick of that stuff or just keep on going? I don't know.
Well, in the case of Kevin, he's had a few off days, but I think mostly he's definitely been entertaining.
His have been really good.
Informative. Everything you possibly want. But I just know, like, from my point of view, it's like, well, I'm busy and there's too many things I'm into. I only have so much time. I'm watching his show, I'm watching Scott's show, I'm watching, other people. Something gets cut.
Right.
And for the most part, it's been podcasts I listen to. I've tried this week to get back into some.
I know. I think a lot of them I was just listening to because there was nothing else on. I think more good stuff's coming on. I actually like listening to a lot of these guys. And your show, Peter.
My show?
Yeah. Even though, like, that one where you were like half asleep, I felt kind of bad for you.
I tell you, my schedule has been horrible. How many times past 3 o'clock have I been doing these videos? 3 o'clock in the morning. I think I've been half asleep in a lot of them at this point.
Hey, did you get a message from Kevin Cross? He posted on Facebook on the Artcasters chat. He says he wants in.
All right.
Tell me, guy, come in. Yeah,
Come on, Kevin. We're waiting for you.
Right,
I'm going to go refill my drink while you do that.
Speaking of Kevin.
Yeah, definitely. Are you doing videos, John? I don't know if I caught yours or not.
I am not actually doing videos at this point. It's something I'd like to do, but I'm in the middle of like 4 different things and trying to figure out how I'm going to all get them scheduled around my job. So it's something I want to start doing and hopefully soonish, but because I have found that doing videos or doing these video chats and that sort of thing is awesome for keeping me on task.
Yeah. That's a good point, and honestly, that is something that kind of why I keep doing them too, is because it's like you got to get in there and freaking draw something.
I'm in the middle
get
of
the show out,
Yeah, because if
trying to figure out how I'm going to all get them scheduled on my job. So
hey, Kevin appears.
Something I want to hopefully.
Hey, Kevin.
Hey.
Because I have found that
you got the YouTube video running.
Video chats is awesome for keeping me on task.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we got a feedback loop going. Somebody turn that off.
That's.
Hey dudes.
How's it going, Kevin?
My ears are burning.
That's only because we were talking about you.
Yeah, I heard.
Oh yeah.
We take it all back.
Listen to all the sorry excuses about what a bunch of pussies you are for not being able to upload content every single day. Here's the secret. When you're working on your stuff, you at least have like 1 or 2 thoughts, right? So you write down one of them, and you don't talk about that until the next day.
I'm not sure that's doable. I barely have 1 thought in a day. I mean, if I do, that's a busy. That schedule is full, man. I don't know what else I'm supposed to do.
Yeah, I hear you. So what's up, dudes? Good, well, hanging out.
We hang out.
This is my first hangout. It's so exciting.
Yeah, it's like complicated to get in here. Every time I get in one of these, it's like I can't remember how the hell I got in here.
Yeah, I had to like post like questions like, "Hey, how do I get in?" Come on, like 3 different places or something. So,
I just happened to look at my phone and I saw there was a Facebook will instant message me or something when somebody posts something. So I saw that and I saw that you were trying to get in. So it didn't buzz or anything. So I just happened to glance over. Otherwise, you'd still be sitting there.
no, that's fine. I'm supposed to be working right now. This is nice procrastination for sure.
There you go.
We're all supposed to be working.
But yeah, so yeah, that was like my last resort. I was like, all right, fuck it, I'm gonna go to Facebook, and then I looked on YouTube. I was like, how do you join a hangout? And then it was like, oh, you have to download all this crap. So I was like, all right, fine. I'll procrastinate by downloading some more.
Set up?
So now my video tonight, when I do it, is going to be, so I was thinking about comics. You got to talk to people. So I downloaded Google Hangout. Here's my tutorial. Go to Google and, and hit download.
Yeah. That's how I get in. I email Peter and I go, how the hell do I get in this thing? And he sends me a link to somewhere.
So did you guys do videos today already?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give you guys a little secret that I do mine a day in advance. So.
Oh man.
Yeah, just so just in case I fall back or something. We were talking about buffers if they exist or not, but yeah.
Well, I'll let you in on a secret, Scott. Twice I've done like my daily video like during the daytime, 30 minutes, and then at night I had like 30 minutes. I'm like, oh sweet, I'm just gonna do another video. I'm wearing a different shirt.
I thought about doing that.
And then tomorrow I'm just gonna go like to the beach or something. But
That's awesome.
This is being recorded.
Yeah, I already put one for tomorrow where because people were asking me about my mural, so I basically just did a tour. I just was showing the mural and all the characters on it, so that'll be tomorrow. But don't.
Yeah, I mean, see, that's cool. I mean, you said before I was in this that it is just kind of like a diary, So, I mean, if there's like, there's been times when I'm like, I'm still doing the same thing I was doing yesterday. So, I think I was even like a little drunk one night when I said, oh man, and I had no idea what I was going to talk about. And, like, I went out, with my friends, came home, and was telling my wife, shit, I still got to do my video. And all I did was the same thing as yesterday, and there's nothing to talk about. So I just sat down, I put the thing on, I was like, here's the top 10 comics I liked in the 70s.
I remember that one.
I remember that. Yeah, that was a great one. I remember that.
So that was one where, yeah, I just paced back and forth a little bit of a buzz.
Devil Dinosaur was in there.
Yeah, that was a comment, actually.
It's funny because a lot of the comic books you were mentioning, like if you, did you get a copy of my book when we did the mini comics dump truck?
I did.
If you look at the comic books on the ground when the kid's reading it, there's ROM and there's Micronauts, and you have to look real close. But it's just funny that you were talking about those all the time because I was a big fan of those too. So.
Yeah, I was a huge fan of ROM. Have you guys heard I haven't brought it up on the videos at all, but I've been doing this podcast that's kind of been fallen by the wayside, but we still have some episodes to edit, and it's a friend of mine and me, and we drink whiskey or beer or something like that, and read 70s comics and comment on them.
Traveling through the Bronze Age, yeah.
Traveling through the Bronze Age.
I'm hoping you didn't stop that altogether, because
No, it's Hub, the guy who I do it with. He's been moving, and I just like got so much work, and then having a 2.5-year-old to watch full time.
Yeah.
No easy task.
Can I just say that is the most amazing concept for a podcast ever?
Thanks. We actually stole it. It's not even ours.
It's a good thing to steal. I don't even care. That's fantastic.
Yeah, there's other people that do it, but they like there was one guy who did just like Marvel Star Wars comics.
Mm.
but he hopefully he's not watching or listening, but it's just sometimes like the host brings a lot to a show. and he reenacted voices. And it was it sounded like it could be funny to watch somebody like get hit in the head kind of thing, but it was too uncomfortable. I just couldn't watch, you know. It's like when you see someone get hit in the nuts and you grab your crotch, you know. It was like that. I was like, I just can't listen to this. And he only lasted like 10. Then there's a guy who was doing a Superman one, and I don't know how if I found it or if my friend Hub found it, and we started kind of listening to him. And we're like, man, we can do better than this because we party. and so we started it. But yeah, it's not original. Just like this 100 Days thing really isn't original because it all came from like ladies wanting to learn how to ballet in their middle age and stuff, you know.
Yeah, that was interesting when you mentioned that. I didn't realize you that there was something like that on the web. You know, I thought you just came up with 100 Days, you know, just out of the blue. But
no,
yeah, so you type that in, there's all this junk everywhere, you know.
It just like it was like one of those like zeitgeist moments where, you know, I was getting really pissed off at work, and you know, I've talked about it before. I'm so fed up with the freelance illustration business.
Yeah.
Which, you know, I did that podcast, Big Illustration Party Time. Probably it flies in the face of everything I said on that show. But, you know,
here's how to get into illustration. Here's how to get the fuck out of illustration.
Get a real job. But yeah, so it was like this, you know, zeitgeist moment where I was like, I got to do something, you know, because I'd seen some friends, mostly like friends online that I've never met in person, like someone like Chris Oatley or somebody like that, you know. Who's a super nice guy. He's like the Mr. Rogers of illustration.
Oh.
And, you know, like, I like him. He's a friend, but sometimes I just want to punch him. You know?
I think we all have friends like that.
But he's a cool dude. But him and a bunch of other people, they left their jobs, you know, like him at Disney and stuff like that, because they just kind of saw the writing on the wall, how shitty things have gotten. And I was feeling it, and been seeing all these people like, hey, you know, I quit doing freelance stuff and now I'm making the same living doing my own shit. And then there was this like hashtag that was floating around on like Twitter or Instagram or something, and it was like 100 Days of Happiness or something. And it's you always have those friends who are posting those things like, today is gorgeous, go out and kiss a puppy, you know. And I'm like, well, I only slept 2 hours last night, I want to punch a puppy, you know. But anyway, so I hit this hashtag. I was like, where's this hashtag leading to? And it was this site. It was all like, you know, don't stop. You know, if your dream has always been to join the ballet and you're 46 years old, don't quit that dream now. Do it every day for a while and post it online, and eventually you'll be able to be a ballet dancer. You know, or if you always wanted to learn how to cook spaghetti, boiling water too hard, try for 100 days in a row. And so I was like, oh, you know, that's a good idea. So, and I was like, if I do YouTube videos where I kind of do it in public, and you guys were talking about trolls, I have an awful troll. That I was like, people will hold me accountable. You know, this troll likes to make webcomics about me personally instead of his own projects. So I'm like, all right, well, you know, he'll call me out if I mess up. So I'm using him. And yeah, you know, that's.
It's a good.
I just talked way too long, didn't I?
No, it makes sense. It's a good thing. It keeps you like accountable, like you said. If you got to make a video about something that day, it gets your butt in the chair and gets you drawn, you know.
Yeah, because there's definitely, you know, I mean, 90 days now. Tonight will be 91.
Wow.
And today's one of those days I just don't feel like doing it, you know, but I got to do it. So at some point tonight I'll pull something out.
What I love about yours, Kevin, is it's like the comic's actually happening. You know, it's like I click into the video and I'm like, fuck, man, he's got pages done. You know what I mean? It's like from like where you started till now. You know, there's like it worked. You know what I mean? That's awesome.
Yeah, and it's becoming a habit. You know, like even now, you know, I should have come into the studio tonight and started working on my comics.
Yeah.
Which is one of my mistakes that I've done before. But instead, you know, I've got like client work.
You gotta get on Google Hangout and talk to your buddies.
I've got this client work stuff looming, so I was like, oh, I'll just do that. But I do have this like. There's been a couple times where I've been like, okay, if I don't do comics today, no one's gonna really know. And then, but then I feel like a dick, you know. So I still do it. So it is cool. It's become a habit, and you know, like I was hoping before it would become a habit, and people would hold me accountable. It's kind of made me accountable, hold myself accountable as well. You know, it's like. I don't know, like quitting smoking and then lying to somebody that you didn't. You're like, oh shit, you know what I mean? Something like that. So yeah, it totally gets my butt in the chair no matter how I'm feeling, you know. Which is awesome. But
secretly start smoking again, and everybody's like, "Good job, man! Yeah, you're really doing it." You know?
100 days of starting smoking. Here's how you do it, kids. I started a Tumblr site. We can all see who's smoking. Get on Google Hangout and we'll light up a butt.
It seemed to me like I watched what you had before 100 Days. You were doing the Kevin Cross show. It seemed to me like a natural progression with more of a focus.
Yeah, I mean that was I had
like you were experimenting, like.
yeah, because that was like a vlog, like just a regular vlog, I guess, you know. Because like maybe one I do like process. Here's how I do a kids book illustration, which is different than, you know, how I ink like a comic page or something like that, you know. And then the next one would be like me with a bottle of whiskey talking about Christ Star issue 8, how Danzig ripped off the skull from the cover, you know. It was like stuff like that. But yeah, it was just that was, you know, I stopped podcasting because I got really burnt out for a while on that, and I guess I don't know, I want people to like me, guys. Look at me, look at me. But no, I mean, it seemed like when I stopped doing the podcast, you know, a lot of people complained about the free thing that they were getting that was not there anymore, and then I started noticing that, you know, you guys are all artists. You got to sell personal stuff, whether it's commissions or your comics, or, you know, like Jeff with his, you know, illustrations and every day and stuff like that. You got to sell stuff. You can't just rely on clients. And I noticed that when I stopped doing the podcast, it was like out of sight, out of mind, you know. Mm-hmm. So it was.
I actually wondered that myself. I wanted to ask you that sometimes, you know, because I noticed, like, I used to listen to that Comics Are Great show, and then when you guys dropped off, I totally kind of kept watching Jersey, but then it's like I totally lost track of you, and I can't remember the other guy's name on that show, you know. Mark, yeah.
I mean, we still talk. Mark's still my buddy, so he's doing a lot of illustration work, and he's gotten, like, pretty successful in like the heavy metal world with his illustration.
That's cool. But it did actually kind of knock your audience down once you kind of stopped that.
Yeah, totally. I think because like Jersey would have been out of that crew of 3 guys, he would be the Mr. Rogers.
Right.
Mark's like
Danzig.
Yeah, like, Mark will rip the face off of Satan. Right. And I feel like I fell somewhere in between. Where a lot of like I like to have a lot of fun and be positive, but sometimes I want to rip someone's face off too. You know, so it's like
that's what I liked about that show, is the 3 personalities. They were so distinct and everything, but it just worked together. Whereas, you know, I love, like, Comics Are Great, and I like watching Jersey and everything, but sometimes it's just too much of just him. And I kind of like the back and forth that you guys had. So. But
yeah, I mean, The Simpsons, when Flanders is on it, it's really funny, but I wouldn't want to watch a show that's just called Ned Flanders. Yeah, but yeah, it's totally true. Like I think just the modern age of social media stuff. You know, you can put out garbage once a week and you'll get a crowd. You know, so I mean, I'm not saying put out garbage, but you know what I mean? Like, if you don't put out something on a consistent basis, you're just not visible anymore because no one even looks at each other. They're all like this all day.
Exactly, and that's exactly where they're looking at you. And if you're not in that
If you're not in
stream,
that rectangle right there,
right?
you don't exist, you know. And again, as artists, we need to exist.
Yeah.
Because I hate that whole oh well we do this out of love kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, that's what we got into, but now it's a fucking job. You know.
Maybe that's just getting older, because I really get tired of that shit, you know. I'm just like, okay, yeah, well, we do it for love, but how do you make money?
Yeah, totally.
You know?
Well, some of us have full-time jobs and still end up doing this out of the love, so.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, that's...
Get him out of the podcast. Peter, pitch him out.
Yeah, I mean, you know, since I've been an illustrator, there's been times when I've had to take, you know, regular jobs like, you know, construction or delivering pizza or waiting tables or, you know, those are always the jobs that I last at for like 3 months, and I'm like, fuck this.
Yeah.
But I've done it, you know, and sure we do it out of love, but, you know, if I'm going to do this out of love, it's going to be on my own stuff, you know, and so many people seem to think like, oh, you're an illustrator because you love it, so here, you draw my stupid, I don't know, draw my stupid kids book for $10,
Right.
you know, and because you love doing kids books, and I'm like, just because I've done kids books doesn't mean I love your kids book. I did those kids books because I loved the paycheck.
Yeah.
If I didn't, I would do my own kids book. Working for free.
So, for anybody watching this, you know, this is going out to a different audience. They might not be familiar with you, Kevin, even though we've sort of been talking about you and now you're here. Just a shout out to your website and give us a little rundown of who you are and what you do.
Before you start, you weren't listening to all the things we said about you, right? Like early on.
I forgive you guys. It's cool.
We're like, man, Kevin Cross, now we have to do videos every day. Fuck.
Well, hey, some people don't.
Right.
and that's fine.
I feel like I got singled out somehow here. I don't know.
I did hear Peter say, oh, sorry, everybody, KevinCross.net. And I'm an illustrator because I'm a failed punk rock star. There you go. I ride a skateboard. So I did hear Peter before I came in here say that Peter, you're looking forward to the 100 days being done.
Well, in the sense that I'm really bad about scheduling, and I'm finding a lot of times I'm doing these videos at 3 o'clock in the morning when I shouldn't be doing the video. I should actually be doing it, you know, like in the early part of the day rather than right before I'm about to crash. And it's just, you know, it's a lot of different things, but you know, I see in other people's videos the frustration of, oh, I'm not getting enough done, progress, but yeah, that kind of doesn't matter. Having a topic, you know, I come up with brilliant ideas and I don't write them down. I find usually I'm repeating myself from 2 videos ago or whatever. And nobody's called me out about it, but
well, I'm sure I have too. You know.
Yeah.
I think everybody, yeah.
Yeah, you're going to regardless, you know. If it's on your mind, it's on your mind, and you might present it in a different way, you know, because you might feel different on a Monday than you do on the previous Friday or something, you know.
Yeah.
But these guys would. Go ahead, Peter.
You know, I'm sticking with it, and you know, I mean, I think it's a brilliant idea. It's just the frustration of the moment talking, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I dig it.
These guys were telling me though that you're considering like once the 100 days is up to kind of go to like a weekly or something. Is that right, Kevin?
Yeah, yeah, because this has been, it's been good for like kind of rebuilding a crowd, I guess, that it went away during the podcasting. Also, it's like Peter was saying before, I tried this vlog before, and it was unfocused, and doing something more focused, I think will keep me more focused.
Yeah.
Because I think it's awesome that people are watching the videos and stuff, which I'm really surprised because they're all done on my phone, and I leave ums in, and it's not very professional, and it's just everything's on my phone, even editing, uploading, all that stuff. But people are watching, and I had like 40 to 50 subscribers before, and now it's 430 something.
Wow. Yeah.
So it's been awesome, and then kind of like getting to meet like some new people through doing this, regardless of living in different states or countries even, which is pretty rad. Because again, like when the podcast went away, sort of my art friends went away too, because my friends in town here are skateboarders and punk rockers, and they don't care about art, unless it's a flyer for a show or something.
Yeah.
But ultimately, this whole thing has been good for me personally. So it's not all crass, because it's keeping me on track doing something.
Yeah.
Because I feel beholden to deliver something, because I said I would. But it's still more for me, So I'm gonna do it more for me than because I think that is working to be selfish about it, and I'm doing this for me, but you can watch,
Totally. No, I agree totally with that thinking. I mean, is there any chance, like, at the end of this, I mean, I was kind of joking around about the Kickstarter before you got on here, but, I mean, you've had some pretty good success with the T-shirts and stuff. I mean, you ever thought about that, maybe firing one up, and maybe you could just leave illustration for good,
I mean, of course it's crossed my mind, but, I don't think that I'm far enough in the project, being the Monkey Mind one, because I started for some stupid reason that strip also, but I don't think it's far enough along, and I know a lot of people go, hey, I got this brilliant idea, I'm working on it, I need money, now, go.
Yeah.
And then it takes like 2 years or something for it to be delivered, and I might be able to get some little bit of success from it, but I'd rather wait and be more in the good graces of the people who are supporting it than have to have them wait. Like, I'm still waiting. It's been 2 years on this one thing that I donated to a Kickstarter, and I'm just like, come on, come on already.
It kind of sucks, yeah.
And the other thing about it too is that I signed a contract for a graphic novel. That's about a 9 to 10 month long job.
Wow.
And so even if I were to do a Kickstarter, I still wouldn't be able to devote any more time than I am right now. So, I think in the meantime, I'll figure out other ways to kind of supplement the income, because the graphic novel is not paying full-time wages, and I'm working full-time, on it. It's just comic industry sucks. I don't know why I want it back in.
Yeah. It's hard to say no, though.
But
is it like I mean, I don't know if you could talk about it at all. I mean, is it like a comic for like one of the big, I don't know how many companies there are now, 4 or something?
No, it's not like Marvel, DC,
Star Wars.
No, it's actually Omnibus Press, which is primarily a music history publisher.
Oh, okay.
They do, and they just kind of recently started doing comics. I mean, it's all, I hate the term graphic novel, but
yeah,
I guess everyone knows the code. It's fat comic, a chubby-ass comic book. But they just recently did like one that was a history of the Ramones, history of the Sex Pistols. They're doing a Nirvana book, a Guns N' Roses graphic novels coming out. But they just started kind of doing this, and I'm trying to see if I've got some stuff, some examples, because I even bought their books, because I'm a huge fan of rock and roll history.
Yeah.
And he asked Kevin to do John Denver.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm going to do the John Denver graphic novel.
The Muppets.
And he sings so beautifully, and he beats his wife. I don't know. I'm conflicted about this character. So, like, I don't know if you can see this. It's like a. Does this thing just randomly pick screens?
Yeah.
I think it goes to you.
Okay.
Yeah, keep talking.
Yeah,
It'll stay on you.
keep it on,
Yeah, it says then, now, and rare British beat 1960 and 1969.
Yeah.
Like, this is kind of typical of the books I do. And then you look inside, it's all like the mod and garage rock bands from the 60s and stuff, and about them, and how rare their records are, or if you can still buy them, and stuff like that. And then they did this like history of mod book, which was awesome because they sent this to me, because well, actually they sent me a bunch of stuff, and I was buying their books anyway. So which is pretty rad. What was the question? Oh, I got to answer every question with like a 30-minute answer. Nope, it's not DC or Marvel.
Well, that looks like a pretty cool, project to be on. Yeah, I could see why you wouldn't want to just take off and leave that one. So.
Yeah, it's written by this guy Jim McCarthy, who's really cool guy. He's mostly a writer and a music journalist these days, but he got his start in the 70s working for 2000 AD, both writing and illustrating. He's a good 10, 15 years older than me or something like that. So he was actually around during this time, but we have these conversations, where it's like, let's talk about the comic, then we talk about it for 10 minutes, and then we're on the phone for an hour and a half talking about mod bands and punk rock bands and stuff like that. So he's a really cool guy. The publisher's really cool. They know that the paid that the rate isn't like livable, and they're like, well, of course this frees you up to work for other clients, and I'm like, no, I got a 2.5-year-old, and I gotta watch her for full time. But I think, I don't know how many people are going to watch this hangout or anything, but I don't have an NDA, DA, blah, 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 you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just professionally, I'm not going to tell what the story is, but it's a historical fiction book about mods in London in 1963 when it started, which is like really apropos for what the college is about. And, yeah, and that's actually how they found me. Here's a lesson for all of you out there. So I did the Monkey Mod comic, the first one, 2009, and they found it, and that's how I got hired to do it.
Wow.
And they're a British company, and I talked to them a bunch, and they were like, yeah, we hired you because for some reason you're an American who understands this really British movement. And I just was like, well, yeah, because I grew up as a punk, and it was like the next kind of logical step after mod, So, but yeah, they're all really nice and stuff. So that's what I'm doing. So I also kind of thought like working on that would, because I've been working on children's books for the past couple years.
Yeah.
And not comics at all, and not inking comic style, doing this totally different style for kids' books, like real naive stuff, and digital painted and shit like that. So I was like, all right, well, this is about mod stuff, so I'm going to be drawing a lot of scooters, and it's got a deadline, so it's going to benefit Monkey Mod in the long run.
Right.
So I can't really say no.
Yeah. Yeah, that stuff can be tough. I mean, I got a buddy who's just almost the exact same thing. He just worked so hard to get into illustration, and he does comics too, and he got in and got too successful in a way, and now that's the same thing. He does all these children's books that he just does not care about, just hates the changes and hates the subject, and just has nothing for his portfolio because he just hates the stuff.
Yep.
You know, all he wants is out. Which
Yeah.
is weird, you know.
I
He
haven't.
tried so damn hard to get in, you know.
Yeah, totally. That's how I felt. I got a little bit burnt out from comics, and I think it was actually from podcasting. Kind of about them so much, you know. Instead of enjoying them, I was like, I was studying textbooks every day or something.
Right. That's what it is. Yeah,
Yeah.
that jersey, you know what I mean? Get on there,
Yeah.
just like minuscule, like tiny. It's just, it's too much thinking, you know.
It killed it for me, you know. And so, like, I really tried hard, and you know, to like break down the doors in the kids book industry, to the point where I got an agent. My agent is a kids book agent, and I didn't like just like, you know, like a lot of illustrators, you know, oh, I'm gonna try to get an agent. Oh, I don't know. They might say no.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna send out a bunch of these packets, and yeah, a lot of people are gonna say no. But I just need to do something, and I thought like, oh, this will be fun. One image per page, fun, you know, whimsical stories. Then I get in, and I'm like, oh, God.
Yeah.
I mean, the people who are writing to get published, I mean, you gotta like jump through some hoops, and then what ends up getting published, you know, it's like anything, movies, comics, anything, you know, probably like 5% is pretty good and 1% is awesome, you know.
Yeah.
And then you hear all this. A lot of my feedback is, you're too edgy.
Too edgy.
You're too edgy. Like, what do you want? This is stuff I liked as a kid.
Right.
Oh, well, you know, the stuff you're working at, that's like a 10-year-old level, and we're working with 8-year-olds right now.
Man.
I'm like, well, you're talking down to the kids.
Yeah.
When I was 8 years old, I was reading Devil Dinosaur. You know?
Right. That's the truth, man.
People
That's
involved
totally
in
the truth right there.
people involved in children's entertainment have no idea, like they don't not remember being a kid at all, ever.
No,
In my
I don't think so.
experience.
Yeah, a lot of them. Man, I'm talking shit now, and this is public, huh? I think a lot of people in the children's book world think that that it's easy, and that some people treat it like a hobby, you know, and so you'll get these older people who totally forget what it's like being a kid, and they think all kids like teddy bears, or
Yeah.
they like cute animals, and I'm like, look, you know, this, for example, you get a project, it's marketed towards 10 to 12-year-old boys, and it's got cute animals, and I'm like, no, if you're gonna have cute animals, you gotta put like laser beam like eyeballs in them, and like trap jaw teeth, and you know, make them robots or something at least, you know, make them cool. Oh no. And then the book doesn't sell, and then it's the illustrator's fault.
Right.
Like, no, it's your dumb story. I don't know. But, I mean, I don't know. It's not all bad, but, yeah, I wouldn't mind putting a little distance between me and that.
Yeah.
You know, I just hear so much, you know, oh, you're too edgy, this is too edgy, we can't do that, we can't do this. I mean, Where the Wild Things Are is still a classic will never go out of print, probably, you know, at least in our lifetimes,
Yeah.
and probably our children's lifetimes. But that was considered too edgy, but okay. You know, now it's like, oh, you got to really sell yourself. People want safety,
Absolutely.
like really badly, really want safety. But then they don't understand, like, you know, if you do something that is out of the mold of whatever the status quo is, then you might have a runaway hit. And there's been a couple of those this last year where I'm like, how come this book that I wanted to do was so edgy, and then this thing that's like way more crazy than what I was proposing got funded, and now it's like Newbery winner and all this stuff. I'm like, could have been me. It could have been against. You know,
Yeah.
it's like, think of Nightmare Before Christmas
Yeah.
movie.
Right.
When that came out, Disney owned Touchstone, and they were too scared of it to put Disney on it, so they released it as a Touchstone movie. It kind of flopped at the box office, But then it's got this cult following and merchandising that's going to last forever, you know. And I'm going to be 43 in a couple weeks here, and so a lot of my friends who had kids earlier than I did, their kids are graduating high school soon, or if not, have already done it. They're wearing Jack Skellington backpacks still, you know.
Totally.
And like they've taken this ownership, like, you know, what do you know about this old man? I'm like, well, I was 22, you know, or whatever. But you know, I don't know. But it's gotten worse, I think, with companies wanting to be real safe, and it's just kind of killing my love for everything.
That's a business decision.
No one's going to take a risk unless somebody's already done it, and by that time it's not a risk anymore. So.
No, and it's derivative and bullshit.
That's what's great about the net, you know.
Yeah.
Get out, get your own stuff out, get your own ideas out. I mean, that's exactly, I think, what's working on the net in a way. And
yeah.
People, you know what I mean? Take their own take on it.
And that's why, like, you keep, you know, every year you hear like CISPA's back and all these like bills to.
Oh yeah, that stuff.
Yeah. Yes. Regulate the internet. I'm like, no. So, a billboard, when I was just on that trip to the coast recently, that was in some little town we were passing through that was talking about, are you in the slow lane or the fast lane? Because this new internet's coming to our town, and you know, pay this to get in the fast lane. You don't, you're in the slow lane, and you know, if you're a creator in the slow lane, you don't get seen. You know. But it's. I'm gonna go slip my wrist, guys.
And on that note,
to a halt.
All right, guys, I got to peace out.
All right, well, thanks for coming on, John.
It has been a joy talking with you all. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming, man.
Later, John.
Later,
nice
man.
meeting you all.
See you, John.
Talk to you later.
Talk to you later.
Bye.
So the problem with putting the focus on somebody is that then I have to click it manually. So it's been a Kevin Cross show for a while now.
Sorry, I'm going to shut up. What do you guys think about the industry?
You had to make up for last time because he came in late. So.
Right. You're just so entertaining. We're just like, you know, mesmerized by your bitch fest there.
All right. Let me just really quickly say thank you, everybody, for watching day number 9.
Does he have the right to just use this portion for his video?
Yeah, I'll edit it for you myself.
Yeah, thanks. I'm busy. Right? Look, I inked a hand.
Nice. Getting your 30 minutes in.
Right. Doesn't count though, it's for client.
I've been sketching the whole time, so.
Who has? I've been doing it. I can't see that.
I've been sketching, just nothing I'm like really focusing on, but usually when I'm on the phone, I'm always sketching.
Yeah, I got a guy penciled. I was thinking about inking them, but I don't know if I'm going to bother with it.
Are you guys working on any client stuff at all? Jeff, you're just doing your videos now, right?
Yeah, just my videos and just selling my original art and my prints, and that's it right now.
Right now, you only have prints up on eBay?
At the moment, I have 2 originals that I'm going to put up tomorrow. I just didn't want to put them up on Sunday.
Yeah. No, I was wondering how that's going for you now, because it's been a while since you had prints up on eBay.
Oh, the prints? I don't know. They're okay. I've gotten a few sales. It's not picked up strong again, so I'm just kind of doing the wait and see thing and just gonna watch them for a while, keep putting the new ones out, and try to see if they'll come back. I don't know. The only difference is like with this time around, you know, like all my prints are bigger now, and back before is when I would sell prints, they'd all be small, like, you know, sketch card size or double sketch card, or, and I'm almost, you know, that's in the back of my mind too, is like, you know, with bigger art, I mean, maybe they don't sell it quite as good as the smaller prints, because a guy can buy 40 of your small prints and they, I don't know, stick them in a binder or whatever they do with them. Whereas I don't know if they're going to buy 40 pieces that they're going to hang on their wall. So that's kind of got me thinking about the size I'm working at now.
Right.
So I don't know. I'm just kind of, like I said, just wait and see. Stuff's selling, so that's working for now. So.
Your original art is doing fabulous.
Yeah, it's selling pretty good. So I've been getting commissions and stuff. So.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I got this Epson R1900 printer, printer, years ago, so I could sell prints, and prints went okay, but my original art always sold more.
Oh, did it?
And then also, I kind of stopped doing prints because I posted, this is going back like a couple years now at this point, but I posted, piece of art or whatever, and then I'd get people like, "Oh, that's so awesome! I totally want to buy a print." And I'd be like, "Oh, really? Okay, I'll make a print for you."
Yeah.
And then the people who wanted the print weren't the people who bought them. It was always
I know.
Yeah.
I've gotten that just ever since I started selling prints. You just so often, oh yeah, it's a print. Email me when you get one up. They never buy one.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Here's a little pro tip. So I've got I've got a real nice printer and everything, but the ink is so damn expensive that I send mine out to I don't know if you guys have Costco memberships, but I can get I think it's 12 by 18 prints, something along those lines, or 12 by 19 for like $3.
That's
and
pretty good.
I make a good profit at shows with those, but I mean it's just so much cheaper than trying to print it off of my computer. So I don't know. I've had real good luck with that. So
yeah, because go ahead, sorry.
Well, I was gonna say I buy my ink off eBay, so.
That's super.
I've tried to go with the places that have the discounted ink. But for whatever reason, my printer, it knows it's a discounted ink, and it just says, I'm not going to use this, and it just does not. It starts printing weird stuff. So it's like I can't. Every time I buy a new printer, it's the same thing. I just cannot win. It's either they can't, because you go into the office supply stores and they have the refill stations. Every printer I buy, ours, we can't refill that kind, or we can't, so.
Well, I've got that, too. On eBay, though, you can find people who will sell them that have the chip in them. And those ones with the chip, I've been able to get work. I know what you mean, though. I used to just buy the refill inks, and then I'd go into, when I got my new printer, it's smarter than my old one. It was wouldn't print for nothing. And then finally I found somebody on eBay would sell them with the chips, and those ones do work, so. But I know what you mean. It's ink is ridiculously expensive.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But that's probably about what I'm paying to do them on myself is, I figure it cost me about $2 to make I shouldn't have said that online, actually. What am I doing?
Transparency.
It's not the cost of the print, it's the value of the artwork.
That's right. You're paying for
Don't worry, nobody watches the end of my videos.
That's right.
And think of the value of the years of your expertise.
That's right.
Important.
Signature.
And I just bought ink today at Fry's, and it was these little things.
Yeah.
$13 a pop.
Jeez.
Yeah. And that's
It's
what does this take? It takes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
5
7,
of them.
8.
8 of them? Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Yep.
How come it takes so many? How come 8? I've never seen that.
Does yours have the orange ink? 'Cause I've seen some that have,
orange.
yeah.
Yeah, it's got yellow, magenta, matte black, red, orange, photo black,
Wow.
gloss, a gloss medium I never use. Because even when I make prints, I want it to be matte,
And
then,
if one runs out, it won't print anything, right?
yep. And then cyan, and yep. Oh boy.
Even if you're printing black and white, you run out of orange or something, it still won't print, right?
Yeah.
Is that how it works?
Yeah, totally.
Yep.
So that's where I ended up today. I pushed it off to the last possible minute, and Fry's. is way. It's like 45 minutes away from my house. Because it's like, it's a box store, so they don't allow it in the city here because it's Portland, and box stores are evil. So
Right.
And Epson, I pass Epson on the way to Fry's, but you can't go to Epson to get Epson shit.
Yeah.
Epson is 15 minutes away. So to go into their corporate offices and be like, I know you have this cartridge.
Yeah.
But I don't know. You can't win as an artist.
Yeah, you can. That's what this show is all about, is winning as an artist. We're all doing it.
We're all winning. That's why we're doing it.
That's right.
Because we love to win.
Yeah. Did you buy that? How big does that printer that you got print, Kevin?
13 by 19.
13 by 19. Yeah, that's what mine is too. 13 by 19.
Yeah, and then you have to get if you want nice prints, you have to get this fine velvet art paper.
Oh yeah, I saw all that stuff.
Yeah, and it's like $30 for 20 sheets or something, and you always end up wasting a couple of them.
I know. I blow a few by accident.
Yeah, or like the color on your screen doesn't match and whatever. I don't know.
There's been some places online. I've always kind of thought about trying some of these guys who would they're kind of like the print on demand. There's this one called Poster Brain. Does posters, it's like a print on demand place, and it would do this thing called blind shipping to your customers. So print them and then they just ship them straight to them. I don't know though. I'm like such a quality control crazy nut that it scares me to have somebody else send something to somebody that bought something from me,
Yeah, I was really nervous with the first shirt.
Yeah.
Because they were like, no, we screen stuff, and I'm like, yeah, but how come it's cheaper than Zazzle or Cafe Press?
Mm.
And the quality for the Zazzle and Cafe Press, I don't know if you've seen any of their stuff.
It's crap.
Garbage.
Yeah,
it's absolute garbage. So I was like, all right, well, at least I got money back guarantee, and I'm off the hook if it sucks,
Yeah, I've got shirts on Redbubble, and I don't know if hopefully it's better than Cafe Press and Zazzle, but I don't know. I haven't ordered one, but I know people have bought them from me, so I just hope they're decent because I feel bad if they don't.
Yeah, that scares me though. I've thought about that, that Redbubble and all those places, but just especially shirts and stuff, where you just, you just don't know what the quality is. I guess you could buy some, but I
bought one to make sure.
Did you?
Yeah. I figured, because ultimately, you're paying whatever the price you said is up front, but then you're making that money back, so you're really paying the cost.
Right.
For the shirt, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it came back screened, so I was like, all right, sweet.
That's cool. That's cool.
So,
it's kind of it's a better way to do shirts, I think, especially shirts.
Oh yeah, because I've been in bands for years, and you always have to buy shirts, and you put a new record out or something, sell shirts with it, and you always end up, the band breaks up, and someone's left holding a box of youth larges, or something like that, because you never can, my band now. Especially in punk rock, it's mediums and larges.
Yeah.
So we got a ton of mediums and larges, but for some reason my band attracts very small people and very large people. We ran out of smalls and extra larges right away, and now we have all these mediums and larges. I'm man.
Yeah.
Never again. Yeah. I still have a tote full of shirts from a band that broke up that I was in 9 years ago. I don't know why I'm holding on to them. It's just it will or something.
Yeah, you could just start wearing them. Have T-shirts set for for the next 10 years.
Yeah. Who's in that band? What?
Right.
You like the guy who wears the Ozzy shirt to the Ozzy show?
Yeah. Have you, I'm just kind of curious talking to comic book guys. I mean, and I asked these guys already, but have you ever messed around with Comixology at all, Kevin? You got any of your books up there?
No, I don't. Well, actually, I must, but I'm not getting any royalties from it, obviously. Like
Really?
for hire stuff.
Oh, it's work for hire stuff, so you don't really see the sales or anything.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I have books up there.
Yeah, you got like the stuff you
that I put up there.
I mean, so really, as far as I messed with it, is to download the app and see how it looks. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, when I do the comic, I will probably put it on Comixology because I think I heard you guys talking about DeviantArt and covering bases and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Throws in here. Although I think they take like 50%.
Oh, do they really?
Yeah. So, you know, I'm gonna do like I use Store Envy for my website.
Yeah. I got the store on there too. That's a good. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Good interface.
Yeah, I use that too.
Yeah, it's nice because they make their money elsewhere in their company, so it's free and stuff. But you know, I was selling like original art and prints, and like I was doing punk rock zines with Mark actually for a while.
Yeah.
And selling those on there. But I just recently noticed that I don't know if it's new or something, but they have where you can people can buy downloadable stuff now.
Yeah.
So
I think they just got that on there actually a little while ago.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so I'm glad I'm not wrong. So what I'm probably going to do is, you know, I'll do a Comixology to get a base or something, and maybe in one of those pages I can say, I don't know, somehow try to direct the traffic away from Comixology at that point.
Right.
You know, if they buy a comic there, be like, no, but check it out, it's over here.
Yeah.
You know, and it's probably still going to have to be 99 cents, I think. I don't think you can go any lower, but
Yeah.
But if you buy it over here, I don't know, you get some sweet extra.
Right.
I don't know.
Get free,
Yeah, I don't know what it will be,
punk
but
rock T-shirt.
yeah. Well, I mean, I'm well, not so secretly, but writing Monkey Mod songs and recording them at home. You know, just to have as an extra, and me trying to like feign like a British accent and stuff.
Neat. Yeah.
You know, because I grew up watching. You know, I was born in 1971. I grew up watching all the reruns, Hanna-Barbera stuff.
Yeah.
You know, like the Amazing Chan and the Chan Clan.
Yeah.
You know, Charlie Chan's nephews and nieces who were in a rock band, and Jabberjaw who played drums in a rock band, and Josie and the Pussycats, and you know, Banana Splits. Every cartoon character was in a band. You know.
Totally.
And I love music, so you know, which is one of the reasons why Monkey Mod started. And then I was like, oh, this is perfect. This gives me an outlet through the lens of my love of 60s pop culture to do the cool shit that was in the 70s, you know?
Right. And it's a cool kind of extra, too, you know, with the book or something. Some kind of like CD or music or downloads.
Yeah, yeah. What I'd actually like to do, because, you know, just so I'm still playing in bands. No one buys CDs anymore. Like, we even sell our T-shirts with a download code now. Like, hey, you know, buy our shirt, get the album. You know.
Do people buy your CDs at shows?
No.
Because I always, if I go to a show, I always buy a CD just to support the artist. So I was just curious.
So the music I play is not, you know, what a lot of young people think punk is anymore. It's real punk rock. You know, it's really angry and the stuff that your parents told you not to listen to when you were a kid. You know, and in that scene, vinyl records is still king. You know, the people still make them, and that's the media that people still seek out. Is vinyl, but it's very expensive, and CDs are way cheaper. They're still a little more pricey than. There's a site. It's called. Oh God, what is it called? Oh, The Great Tyrant, and it was started by a guy in a band to be a place where you can upload your music and it generates download codes, and then you get your codes and you print them out, and so that's free aside from the recording of your music. You know, we get some T-shirts made, and I mean, records, they're just so expensive. We're not like a huge band or anything. So, but we have enough fans that we can sell a shirt here and there. And the shirts are only $10 because they're only white ink on black. You know, it's not a lot of screens. And so for $10 for a shirt and a download, people seem apt to do it. We did do 50 limited edition cassettes. And they sold out, you know. That was kind of an experiment, you know.
Yeah.
But as progressive as punk rock used to be, it's really fallen into a trap of rules and regulations and you know, a lot of younger punk rockers have distrust of technology, and whereas like us older guys, we're like, no, this is a new avenue, you know.
Yeah.
You're stupid. You're a dipshit, kid.
Yeah.
But you can't say that because they're buying your shirt. and they're up front singing along. But at the same time, you know, like we played the show one time. We did this little tour, and we were in not a huge town, but it wasn't like a podunk town by any means. It's like, you know, people were educated. There were schools and stuff. And this guy who's, you know, at least 21 or 2 or something. We have, you know, in our merch stuff, it's like, here's our shirt with the little sign, and it comes with the download code for our music. And I hand him the shirt, hand him the card with the code on it, and he goes, "What's this?" And I said, "Oh, this is our record. You can download it at home." I don't know how to do that. Kidding me? You're 20 years younger than me. How do you not know how to do that?
Totally.
So, you know, I don't know. So, cassettes.
I've met actually some kids like that, younger guys, you know, back when, you know, painting houses and stuff, you know, you work with a lot of younger people. Some people are like that. They're just like, you know, even like other artist types and stuff, and they're just like, I don't know, web, who needs the web, man, you know? Digital art, that's, you know, that's cheating. And it's like, what?
Yeah. You know? Maybe
the future, dude.
Yeah. Maybe it's so much more important to us because we kind of need it, or you know, we're seeing the benefit to, you know, our careers through it, and they don't, you know.
That could be. They grew up with it.
Yeah.
Whereas honestly, it's like this amazing thing. Or to them, it's like it's been there forever, so it's like, who cares? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But, I mean, I still like vinyl, and I liked having cassettes for that nostalgia. Because I still have some cassettes I've had since high school.
Yeah.
You know? And I still have vinyl that I've had since high school. And, you know, I'm one of those music snobs where I'm like, oh, it sounds so much better on vinyl. But it, you know, and I do kind of wonder if it's just my age. And, you know, I like that, like, putting on headphones and you got, you know, the record and you turn it over and look at it and open it up and, you know, and CDs, it seems like, that's plastic. Oops, I already cracked the case. You know, but yeah.
There's no like print-on-demand vinyl. That's not a thing.
No, I think it's still too expensive.
Wow.
Because you have to make these, like, they call them glass masters.
Yeah.
And it's kind of where they press the records together.
That's what makes it.
So it's like a mold, and I guess those are really expensive to make.
Wow.
What about those little floppy records you get from cereal boxes we used to?
Yeah, see, those are actually like kind of coming back.
Yeah.
You guys know who Pat Higgins is?
No.
Through Facebook or anything? He's an illustrator, and he's a guy who plays in bands too and stuff. And he actually came out to Portland from Delaware for Icon that was just in town here, and he had with him a bunch of like kind of floppy records of his band to hand out to people as part of his like promo pack.
Wow.
Like, no way, but they're not. It wasn't floppy. It's like, actually I have it somewhere. Where did I put it? It's kind of hard. It's like a piece of like plexiglass or something. But he said it was pretty expensive.
Yeah.
Like $5 a pop or something.
Oh wow.
To give out to people, so he only had a limited amount, and
Yeah.
I wasn't actually going to give him money. I don't know where it's at. I was going to give him money for it. but it's pretty cool. I mean,
It's pretty neat. I mean, I remember like the, you know, I don't know, like I'm sure you guys remember them too, but the records, like the comics that came with the records in them. Like I had a Planet of the Apes comic and had a Planet of the Apes record in the back. You know what I mean? And the Spider-Man one too. I'm sure all you guys remember that stuff.
Oh yeah.
There you go. Oh, there it is.
there it is.
Oh, that is awesome.
Yeah, I got a bunch of these. Some of them,
so cool.
a couple of them, maybe 2 or 3, are from when I was a kid, and then a couple years ago I got really, I don't know, maybe it's this comics mentality or something where I just got really into collecting them again.
Getting them, yeah.
And also, I don't know if you might have seen in the videos, but there's this like, that's my computer. I don't know how well you can see that. No, you can't see that at all. But in the videos, if you look over my shoulder sometimes, depending on what angle, there's like a mound with an AC/DC bandana over it. That's a turntable, so I listen to records or I listen to podcasts, actually.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I don't have a record player anymore. I've got like a lot of old records, but I don't have the record player anymore. So
they're cheap now. Like,
are they really?
Like a good one for really expensive. They're either like, it seems like either really expensive or really cheap.
Yeah.
How are the needles? Because I remember I had a record player for so long and I couldn't find a needle for it, and finally I just gave up and got rid of it. So
yeah, it was. I remember it was like that for a while. You can find needles at Best Buy. Actually,
Really?
Yeah. And I believe they just have a deal with Sony, so Sony makes all the different sizes, and pretty much any record player from like the 80s till now, I think generally uses like one of 2 different sizes.
cool.
So they're pretty. You can find them pretty easily, and they're not very expensive. I mean, they're kind of expensive for what they are because they're only like that big, and you might spend like $30 or something.
Yeah.
I was surprised. Oh, go ahead, sorry.
Oh, I'll just finish real quick. The turntable I have in my studio, because the turntable I have in my living room is the same one I've had since high school. The one in my studio is a USB turntable that was only $50.
Wow.
So, you can buy this shit and burn it.
Put it in plastic and never open it again.
Right. Yeah.
I was surprised how cheap you can get a lot of albums, because I figured, because I know they're having that resurgence, so and they're collector's items, so I just figured they'd be super expensive. But
Some are.
yeah, I mean, I priced some of mine that I thought were going to be worth a lot, and they weren't worth anything. So
Yeah, I mean, it's like really niche stuff can be worth a lot of stuff because like maybe the masters are gone or something and will never be re-released, or band was way too obscure.
yeah, I had this one that's a picture disc, and it's Beastie Boys, and it's an interview, and I thought this thing had to be worth something, so I go online, look, and I can't find it anywhere, and it's a bootleg, but I don't know why it's a bootleg because I bought it in like a Warehouse Records way back, which is a chain. So it's weird that it ended up there, but
The record stores did sell bootlegs. Isn't that like
must
that
have.
stuff like like William Stout used to do the covers of those, and I don't know. Isn't that where those were coming from?
Yeah, I've got a few bootlegs that were from stores. I think I mean it is kind of weird that it was like the Warehouse, like a chain.
Yeah, it definitely was a Warehouse.
But like, some place called like Vinyl Resting Place or something like that seems like that's the place to get bootlegs, Vinyl Solution.
Totally.
Is that an actual store, Vinyl Resting Place? Because that's an awesome name.
Yeah, that's one that's just up the street from my house.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Pretty cool shop. But yeah, so my goal with Monkey Mod, with the music, is I actually kind of want to do like a comic with the record in the back. Maybe like
No kidding. Nah, that's
a
cool.
super limited version, because that's going to be expensive. And then, one that's just a comic or something. But,
Right.
Yeah.
but I would like to do vinyl at some point.
I think that's a good idea, because I think that's how you need to make money, because if you're you know, if you're offering it as a webcomic, you need to have that premium package, and that's perfect for.
Yeah, and that would be the premium.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
I do think that's the truth. I don't think people really want cheap. You know, when they're buying their junk, you know, they want more expensive. You know.
Well, I sell, you know, more of my artist editions a lot of times than just, you know, the standard, you know, one.
Yeah, people want them signed, want a sketch on them. It makes sense.
Yeah, it's like, you know, and even without that stuff, it seems like there's like a perception of value. You know, if you're like, okay, I want to sell tons of my comics, you know, the digital version or whatever.
Yeah.
And everyone else is doing 99 cents, so I'm going to do 50 cents.
Yeah.
I really want these people to like me and give, you know, and I'm giving them this value, and then people are going to be like, why is it 50 cents? This must suck.
Totally.
Then you go back and you're like, all right, this one's $2.
I wish it was like that with freelance illustration.
Yeah, I know.
They say something like that, like on Amazon, like the, you know, the highest or the best-selling price on Amazon is like $2.99 or $3.99 or something. It's not like the 99 cents.
Yeah.
You'd think it'd be the 99 cents, but maybe people think, oh, that's the amateur 99 cents.
Yeah, probably.
I don't know.
But there's always exceptions. Like I heard this, it was some guy when I was like kind of looking to get into kids' books, who was getting fed up and decided, and he was like on an NPR, like talking to like Terry Gross and stuff.
Yeah.
And he sold some kids' book for, you know, 99 cents, and I wish I could remember what it was, but it was, I remember the illustration was good, and the sample, like it seemed like the story was well written, and he just sold gangbusters.
Yeah.
This thing at 99 cents, and he just went on and on about talking about like why you should sell your stuff for free, or not free, for cheap, and then you'll get all these fans. And I was like, there it is. That's the guy who's the exception, and now none of us can do it because that one guy did it.
We're all sucked into the 99 cent ghetto. Yeah.
Yep.
Totally.
Yeah, I just did a whole podcast on my frustrations with Elance, so.
Elance? Oh.
Yeah.
I kind of hate those sites, man. I mean,
hate them
that's
too,
really
but-
driving the prices down, you know?
Yeah, I hate them too, but I had a profile up there and I never used it or anything. I don't know why I put it up there, but I did. And every once in a while somebody would invite me to bid on one of their projects. So, and, you know, you would bid on it and then you'd never hear back because it's way too much for what they want to spend. But I did one time and I got this awesome job out of it, and it paid really well and everything.
Wow.
And part of it was because they would only take on American artists, which is part of the problem because you're dealing with people like third world countries and things like that. Because it was a military type thing. So, but so I did the project and it went great, and then they gave me 5 stars, and then after they gave me those 5 stars, then I was super high on everyone's radar, I guess, because now every day I get all this stuff with people wanting me to do shit for free or next.
Yeah, I don't know why I did it. I think it was during. I think I talked about it on one of the podcasts I was doing years ago, but I somehow got on Hire an Illustrator for a little bit, and I think I got like some free sample or something like that. And before it ran out, like before I was going to get charged or something like, I got this big job that actually paid a decent rate, and I was like, oh, wait a minute, maybe this is all right. And then nothing for an entire year.
Oh, wow.
And then I tried it one more time for some stupid reason, and then I got 2 jobs, like within months of signing up, and then nothing. And then I just let it lapse because my daughter was born and I got an agent and I was too busy. But
yeah.
But I had tried it out even after talking a lot of shit about that kind of stuff on the podcast. But it was mostly nothing. But yeah, there was a lot of people who just don't know how to work with an illustrator or what things are worth, and
Yeah.
Yeah, well, if you bid on something and you go back and see who they actually picked, and of course it's for I don't know, $10 an hour or some ridiculous amount. But you look at what they picked and you look at the artwork and it's all crap. And it's, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's just, that product's never going to go anywhere because they're not interested in investing the money to make it good. So
Right.
I don't know.
There's just so much of that, like, and then when the thing doesn't work, they blame the illustrator. Oh, they weren't good enough.
I think that is, like, there's a good side and a bad side to the net, and one of the bad sides is that there's just, it brought in so many more artists, you know what I mean, into the market.
Yeah.
It's just so much easier to find somebody because there's just a billion of us out there now that anybody can get to, so.
When I first started, it was still, 2000. I guess my first, quote unquote professional year. I still had to have 3 portfolios and walk to, I was living in San Francisco then still, and still go to different offices that were doing portfolio drop-offs, and then carry around a, portfolio with originals, and then bring that into places and stuff.
Yeah.
It was so much better because people would get like your flavor and they'd see your stuff, and you could do this thing where they'd be sitting behind their desk trying to look imposing, and you fold out your portfolio on the desk, and then you kind of stand like that over them. And I think it gave them this like, oh, I better hire this guy. He's pretty imposing. But yeah, it worked out so much better, and then, and then all of a sudden people start just emailing, but in the interim kind of calling, and now it's just, I haven't talked to a client forever. It's the only reason why I'm talking to, I think, the writer of this graphic novel is because he's not the guy hiring me. We're like the team who care about this kind of music,
Yeah.
And so it's kind of to shoot the shit and have like hash out ideas to make it a cool book,
Yeah.
But it's.
Yeah, that's another thing that I have a hard time getting used to. Is just everything's through email, even like big jobs and stuff. You never talk to any of these people anymore. It's rare to talk to somebody on the phone.
And it's amazing to see how many people get paid way more than me to send me emails about the projects that they've hired me to do.
Yeah.
And they can't spell or proper punctuation, and sometimes I'm like, look, this job's coming from the English-speaking world. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. But I can't find a phone number to call them, It's like,
Yeah.
I don't know. We're old.
Right.
Yeah.
No spell checks on there somewhere. I just can't figure out how to make it work.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm a notorious bad speller, so.
I remember, I used to go up to Marvel Comics. I didn't always have to, like, when I was picking up work or dropping off work. Back when I was doing work for them, everything was FedEx. But I lived an hour by train away. I'd just hop on the train and go in person, because then I could walk around the offices and talk to the other editors and just like, do you have anything?
That's pretty
Kinda
cool.
like, yeah. Nowadays I think it's like impossible to even get through the door. Set up an appointment, and it's a whole to-do. And everything's like done by email, and you don't know if they get the email, and
Right.
Yeah, and you can easily go, I didn't get it.
yeah.
Because they just want to brush you off or something. It seems like.
But face to face is everything.
Yeah.
And I miss those days.
I think that's why doing conventions is so important. But
Yeah.
who's got the money to do all those conventions that would lead to a big career unless
Yeah. I tell you though, like it's changed so much in like the cons, like back when I used to go to San Diego and get work, I could like walk right up to the the booths and talk to the editors. They were right there. I talked to them in the bar afterwards. You know, the last year I think I went to San Diego was maybe like 2007 or something. There was just no editors to be found. You know, they had like these big kind of cattle call kind of things, and you know, there was just no showing to anybody really.
Yeah, my last one was 2006.
Yeah.
And yeah, I remember it just being like a lottery system to get a portfolio review. And then I kind of heard from some people who got reviews that were good artists, not just people I didn't know or know their skill level or something, like people that I think are competent, And they were just kind of like, they didn't even think they were talking to editors or art directors.
Right.
It was like assistants, because they're like, look, we want to go to lunch. So just, here's the 5 things you say. If you like it, you pick from this list. If you don't like it, you pick from this list. But you always leave them with something positive from this list,
Right.
And so they're like, we, felt like we won this lottery to just be placated too.
Yeah, I agree. From just what I could see when I was in there, I was just like, I don't think these guys are the ones I should be talking to. It just seemed ridiculous to me, so I don't know.
Yeah, and who was it? Was it Gene Colan was still alive then? The guy who did Tomb of Dracula, and and like, I think his work is gorgeous.
Oh yeah.
And he was looking for work at that and couldn't get work there, and I was like, Gene Colan can't get work?
Holy smokes.
This is awful.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess we could get a table maybe, and you were sitting out there, but I don't know. That ain't exactly easy to get at the big cons like San Diego anymore.
No way.
No, I heard some artist, I think it was Buzz, is the first name, said Artist Alley was so packed and cramped. It was just impossible to breathe and work and do his table and everything.
Yeah. You mean at San Diego, like this year or something? We're just there
San
like
Diego,
or
yeah.
something. Yeah.
Yeah, it's I guess it's got more compact over the years.
Gotta make room for Hollywood.
There you go.
Yep. I mean, it's great that it's a big show, and it is a good show to go check out everything. But what it was originally isn't what it is now. There's better shows to go to if you want to, get the independent comic book people, go see them and whatnot.
The money for me at comic shows has always been at either Ape in San Francisco, the Alternative Press Expo, or Emerald City Comic Con.
I've been wanting to go to Emerald for a long time. I hear it's great, but I've just so far I've done Phoenix, which is a really good show. But it was weird. The first time I exhibited our Artist Alley, and I've got a good friend, Daniel Davis, who runs a company called Steam Crow, and he does excellent at shows. But he's been doing it for a while. But he's at the point where now he supports his whole family just on shows and his own artwork and everything. But he told me, oh, you got to get out of Artist Alley. You got to move into the floor and everything. So I did, but I didn't do as well as I did in Artist Alley. But I'm still going to stick with it. I'm still going to stay out on the floor and kind of hopefully fake it till I make it, because I think you're definitely out there more with I don't know, the big players or whatever. But it's I don't know. It's kind of, I was surprised that I didn't pull in as much as I did at Artist Alley. So
I've heard that from different. Oh, go ahead, Kelly.
Oh, sorry. Steam Crow's the guy with the beard.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. He does stuff with his wife.
Yep. Yeah. He's he's kind of been a mentor to me. He started this group out here in Arizona called Tiny Army, and it's basically just a big artist community. And he's been really helpful, giving everyone advice and everything. But I've seen him just grow. I mean, and it's been a slow but steady progression. But eventually, he was working as a graphic designer. Eventually, he quit that, then he got to the point where his wife could quit, and now he just ran a real successful Kickstarter, and he's even done. I mean, he's just built up that audience, and right now he's in Disneyland there's a Wonderland Gallery, which is in the like downtown Disney, which is kind of the City Walk type Disney, and there's a big gallery there, so he's exhibiting there. So I mean, it's just amazing what he's done. But he's really good at it. So I always watch everything he does, and not copy him because, but try to take tidbits and things and kind of do what he's doing.
He's got real artist steel.
Yeah. but it's also the thing that makes him successful is he's doing things differently, and I think that's another thing you have to do, because I mean, he makes a lot of money on prints, but the problem with prints is everyone does prints, so everyone, people can undercut you, and this person over here might sell a print for $15 or $5 or whatever, and you're selling it for 10. So there's eventually there's a perceived value for prints, but when you do things that no one else has, like last convention I did these little novelty, like these little science type experiments, and so that's something no one else has. So I maybe priced them too high because they didn't sell too much, but at least it's something that no one else is offering, so you can put kind of whatever price tag you want on it.
Yeah. I first became aware of him from Ape, actually, and then through he's doing a webcomic. But yeah, I think like part of and kind of seeing, like, I don't know him, but I've seen him at enough conventions to kind of see the growth a little bit,
Yeah.
And it seems like, at first it was like this webcomic, and then it was just like products, like all kinds of products, like.
And it is a business, so I think eventually he came to the conclusion that it takes so long to do the comic where he could just do prints and keep the bulk of his money off prints, so he kind of had to let the comic book go in order to get to the point where he could actually support his family on it, because there's just so much work going in the comics, and I know that I'll probably never make a profit from my comic. I mean, I hope I do, but just when you think of the amount of time you're spending on it, if you actually logged all that time and everything and figured what you would charge if you were doing it hourly, I mean, it's you don't know if you'll ever make that back. So I mean, I think he has to look at it more as a business, and that the things that he can do quickly and get them out there and that he can sell, that's obviously better for his business. So that's kind of why he let the web comic go.
Right.
About how many cons does he do a year? Do you have any idea?
Does. Oh, and just so you guys know, if you're interested in doing more shows, he has a YouTube, him and another guy that has this company called Fezarama, where he sells these custom-made fezzes, and they're all embroidered and everything. But they haven't updated lately, but they had a YouTube show called Booth Bastards, and they talk about all the ins and outs of exhibiting at booths, and I mean, it's just great to listen to, because there's just a wealth of information there. But now I forgot what the question was. Sorry.
Well, I just said about how many shows did you think you
probably? I'm guessing probably about 15, maybe to 20. He was doing a lot, and then he kind of figured out which ones were the good ones, and he kind of phased some of the other ones out. But the ones he's saying are real good. Phoenix is real good. Seattle's real good. For him, just because he's been doing it long enough that he's got premium placement at San Diego, right by like Nickelodeon, that's his best show. But I think Phoenix, and maybe because he's local here, Phoenix is probably his second best show. But Seattle's excellent for him. Denver, he says, is like, it's a newer show, but he says it's like great. So, but like I said, if you watch that, if you just write down Booth Bastards and search for it on YouTube, I mean, there's tons of really great information on that show, and I hope he gets back to updating it, because he hasn't put one out in a while. But
yeah, I'll check that out. That sounds pretty cool. I've wondered if there's, I kind of suspected for a long time that there are guys that just doing the shows and selling their prints and stuff like that.
But had other people on that are doing the same thing, so he's not the only one. I mean, but it is, and again, it is more than just selling comics. You know, he's got so many different things. I mean, he's got like custom like shot glasses, and he's prints, and he's got plushies, and he's just. I mean, it's like you would think the way. You would think and when he goes to like San Diego, people are surprised that he's just a little mom and pop shop. They think he, like some kind of a, Nickelodeon or something like that.
Right. That's cool. That's cool. Some good info.
Yeah, I'm gonna check that out. It's been a long time since I've done a convention.
Yeah. Yeah, I did Denver last year. It was a good show, definitely. I didn't do it this year though. It all happened right when I quit my job and stuff. So I was like, I don't know if I can concentrate on all this right now. So.
Yeah. For me, it's just having a kid.
Yeah, it takes up a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of time.
When I first had the first Monkey Mind comic at the convention, it was at Ape, and it's always like the worst critics are the ones that stick with you.
Right.
I just remember this guy coming up to me, and he was like, he looked like an Ewok is the best I can describe him. He was short. He had this like gray mane of like unkept hair that went into a beard that was just like it had the same width as his hair up here as down here, and like thick matted hair on his little stubby arms, and he totally had that typical comic guy like.
I just had to come over here and talk to you about your character. I saw the banner, and I just think he definitely looks like in anime the 6th character from the left.
And I was like, all right, I don't know what to do with this. I think you just insulted me. Okay, and then he wanted to quiz me on Batman forever, and people were looking at my stuff, and I was like, dude, go away!
Yeah.
I've only had that once, thank goodness. When I did the issue of Aquaman with Green Lantern in it, this guy saw that and came up to me and started giving me a whole history of Green Lantern, and I was like, this is the Wester, but he just went on and on. It was Kyle Rayner at the time, and but it was hilarious.
The thing too about like conventions, a lot of times, if you do work for hire stuff that's on your table, and you get like the fan of whatever property it is.
Totally.
They don't understand that you did work for hire, and anything that they don't like about it, it's you did it. And I'm like,
yeah.
Look, I just got hired,
I know.
I'm just happy when they spell my name right.
Yeah.
Well, this has been a monster show. I think I got to get off here.
Yeah, I do too. I got to finish this, and then I still got to do comics tonight.
You got to do your video still.
Yeah.
I got to do my 100 video.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's 10:45 here on the West Coast, so.
It's 1:45 here.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I'm on the same time zone as Kevin now because we don't observe daylight savings time here in Arizona because we have too much sunlight already, I guess.
How come you guys do that? I mean, what's your problem down there?
I don't know. Bonkers. I don't.
I think it's great. That's bullshit.
Yeah.
Just keep the clock the same.
It's like the last straw down there. Like, what? This too? No, we're not doing it.
They got their own rules.
I wonder if it was like one of those things like, look, this year we get to sleep an extra hour, but next year we're not doing that thing. Or I mean, not next year, but next season we're not losing that hour sleep. We're keeping this hour. All right?
That's right.
Everyone agree? Good. Yeah.
Daylight it's all for farmers anyway, right?
That's right. That's all we need is a 60-watt light bulb. We're good to go.
Too hot to grow.
All right.
Thanks
I
for staying up till 2 o'clock, Peter. You're awesome, dude.
My pleasure, man. Thank you all for coming to my little show.
Yeah. Thanks for having it, dude. And sorry if I hijacked. Still lonely,
no problem.
guys. I need to talk.
Party crasher.
Yep.
I hope you come out to everyone I do.
I'll try.
It was fun.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Or not tomorrow. I guess we will see each other, but we won't hear each other if we're all doing our videos.
Right.
Right.
See you, Scott.
Yeah, this is going to take forever to be processed. I'll post the next Hangouts soon. I want to work out the whole invite thing situation
Okay.
before I do. Yeah. But we had a lot of people watching. There's like 5 viewers now.
All right. I was just wondering when you post this if anyone's going to actually sit here and watch this whole thing, as long as it goes. But some people might. I don't know.
Well, I mean,
you know,
like a long podcast or something.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Listen to it while they work, Yeah.
I mean, I
had,
listened to the last one, so I mean, yeah. I guess people like me, I just don't think there's any other people like me out there. But
hey, it's there if they want to watch the whole thing. If they want to watch 2 minutes, whatever. We had 50 views of the Studio Synergy 6.
oh, really?
So
Wow.
that's pretty good.
That's
Yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah, it was just
yesterday?
yeah.
Was that
Yeah,
live? People viewing
yeah.
live? Or just in total?
No, that's I think it counts views after,
Oh,
you know,
cool.
which is when it officially goes up.
I'm going to go check and see if my kids are still awake. I know one of them would.
Almost got quiet.
My daughter was downstairs in my room. She probably fell asleep in my bed, so I got to kick her out. Okay, guys.
All right, see you, Scott.
Take it easy.
All right, Scott.
Later.
Peter.
How do I get out of
Later.
Bye-bye.
here? Red telephone.
Thanks, everybody.
I'm just doing command quit. Bye.
There you go.
All right. Bye, everyone.